In the aftermath of World War II, the landscape of global power was shifting dramatically. The defeat of Nazi Germany led to a scramble among the Allied forces to secure the scientific knowledge and technological advancements that had been developed during the war. One notable initiative that emerged during this period was Operation Paperclip, a clandestine program conducted by the United States government aimed at recruiting German scientists, engineers, and technicians. This effort would ultimately reshape many aspects of American science and technology in the ensuing decades. Launched in 1945, Operation Paperclip was initiated by the Office of Strategic Services, the precursor to the Central Intelligence Agency. The goal was to gather leading minds from Germany, particularly those who had worked on advanced weapons and rocket technologies. The Cold War tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union were escalating rapidly, and there was a sense of urgency to prevent this expertise from falling into the hands of the Soviets. As a result, the U.S. sought out individuals who had previously contributed to Nazi scientific projects, even if their past affiliations with the regime posed ethical questions. The program brought over 1,600 individuals to the United States, including prominent figures such as Wernher von Braun. Von Braun was a brilliant rocket engineer who had played a pivotal role in developing the V-2 rocket for the Nazis. After his arrival in the United States, he made significant contributions to the American space program, helping to launch the first American satellite, Explorer 1, and eventually leading the development of the Saturn V rocket that propelled astronauts to the moon during the Apollo missions. Another important figure involved in Operation Paperclip was Hermann Oberth, recognized as one of the founding fathers of rocketry. His work laid the groundwork for future space travel and exploration. Similarly, engineers like Kurt Debus and Frederick E. Terman, who also participated in the program, contributed to the advancement of aerospace technology and education in the U.S. While the scientific accomplishments of the individuals recruited through Operation Paperclip cannot be overstated, the program did not come without controversy. Many were aware of the ethical implications of utilizing former Nazis and their association with war crimes. The U.S. government made efforts to downplay these connections, focusing instead on the potential benefits these scientists could bring to national security and technological progress. In some cases, the government even altered documents or suppressed details about their pasts to facilitate their acceptance into American society. The impact of Operation Paperclip extended beyond rocketry. German scientists played vital roles in various fields, including medicine, aeronautics, and even the development of computer technology. For instance, the work of physicists in the program contributed to advancements in nuclear physics and missile technology, while others worked on important medical research that aided in the understanding and treatment of various diseases. As these scientists settled into their new lives in the United States, they often found ways to blend their expertise with American innovation. Their contributions in numerous industries helped catalyze developments that would shape the future, including the emergence of the American space race and advancements in technology that permeated daily life. Beyond the technical achievements, the story of Operation Paperclip is a significant chapter in the broader narrative of immigration and integration in the United States. The program reflects a time when national interests often took precedence over moral considerations, illustrating the complex choices that governments sometimes face during times of crisis. The legacy of these scientists remains a point of discussion, as their contributions are continually weighed against their past actions. Ultimately, Operation Paperclip serves as a fascinating example of how historical forces can intersect in unexpected ways. It showcases the lengths nations will go to secure advantages, as well as the belief that knowledge, regardless of its origins, has the potential to drive progress. The scientists brought to the U.S. through this program not only changed the course of American history, but also helped to shape the trajectory of global scientific advancement in the latter half of the 20th century. As we explore the influences these individuals had on technology, society, and culture, it becomes evident that the threads of history are often woven with complexities and contradictions. The story of Operation Paperclip reminds us that in the pursuit of knowledge and advancement, choices made in haste can have far-reaching implications, transcending borders and impacting generations to come. This intricate narrative continues to invite reflection on the interplay between ethics and progress, leaving an indelible mark on both history and the future. In the heart of Poland, nestled among the dense forests and rolling hills, lies a story shrouded in mystery and intrigue. This is the tale of the legendary Nazi gold train, a rumored train that carried immense wealth towards the end of World War II. The legend speaks of a hidden treasure, buried deep within a secret tunnel, waiting to be discovered. As the war drew to a close in 1945, chaos reigned across Europe. The Nazis were in retreat, and in a desperate bid to secure their wealth and valuable artifacts, they devised a plan to transport these precious items away from the advancing Allied forces. It is said that a train, loaded with gold bars, priceless works of art, and other treasures, was dispatched to the remote regions of Poland. However, as the Allies closed in, the train vanished without a trace. The story goes that this train made its way through the mountains of Lower Silesia, a region filled with hidden valleys and deep caves, perfect for concealing anything from the eyes of prying soldiers. Local legends speak of a group of German soldiers, tasked with safeguarding the treasures, who eventually lost their way in the labyrinthine tunnels of the area. In a desperate attempt to escape from the encroaching Soviet troops, they buried the train in a secret location, sealed off from the world for decades. The quest for the Nazi gold train gained momentum in the 1990s, when amateur treasure hunters and local historians began to search for the fabled treasures. Reports of strange maps that depicted the possible locations of the train surfaced, fueling imaginations and igniting passions for adventure. The tales of the train became intertwined with local folklore, drawing in curious individuals from across the globe, eager to uncover what secrets lay buried beneath the soil. Several expeditions have been launched over the years, each fueled by hopes of unearthing gold or priceless artifacts. One of the most notable discoveries took place in 2015, when two treasure hunters claimed to have found a hidden tunnel near the village of Wewelsburg, revealing a network of underground passages that aligned with the stories of the gold train. While claims of finding the train itself were not substantiated, the excitement surrounding these discoveries only intensified the hunt. Many theories have emerged regarding the possible fate of the train. Some believe it was derailed and the treasures scatter across the landscape, while others suggest it was buried deep within the mountains, waiting for someone to unveil its presence. Various accounts tell of soldiers who purportedly witnessed the train's last journey, describing it as a magnificent machine, gleaming with gold and adorned with treasures of unimaginable value. These stories often feature vivid descriptions that transport listeners back to a time when the world was enveloped in turmoil. Local lore also suggests that the hidden treasures might contain not only gold and jewelry, but also artifacts of great historical significance, such as artwork looted from museums across Europe. Imagine the paintings of masters like Van Gogh or Picasso, lost to time and waiting to be rediscovered in a damp, hidden chamber. These tales only add to the allure of the gold train legend, capturing the imagination of all those who hear it. The search for the gold train is not merely about riches. It symbolizes the enduring human spirit, the quest for answers in a world filled with uncertainty. The stories of those who lived through this tumultuous period echo through generations, reminding us of the complex history that still influences our present. Historians and archaeologists are particularly interested in the broader implications of legends like this. The gold train narrative illustrates how war impacts not just those directly involved in the conflict, but also the landscapes and cultures that surround them. It raises questions about the fate of cultural heritage in times of turmoil, and the systematic destruction and preservation of art and history during conflicts. As recent efforts continue, some believe that advancements in technology could aid in unraveling this historical puzzle. Ground-penetrating radar and other scanning technologies might help uncover anything lying beneath the layers of Earth, allowing for a more scientific approach to the hunt. Who knows what the Earth might reveal? Remnants of a dazzling past or artifacts that could reshape our understanding of history? The legend of the Nazi gold train holds a special place not just in Polish folklore, but in the collective memory of Europe during World War II. It invites us to ponder the nature of greed, the loss of culture due to war, and the unyielding hope that treasures, whether gold or history, can be found again. Whether the train truly exists remains a question, but the fascination it generates fuels curiosity and wonder, urging adventurers to seek out what might lie beneath the surface of the Earth. Imagine the stories yet to be uncovered, the history waiting to be pieced together, and the thrill of the chase that stretches across decades. The Nazi gold train legend is a mosaic of human endeavor, a testament to our quest for knowledge, and a reminder that sometimes treasures are not just gold and jewels, but the stories that enrich our understanding of the world and our place within it. The allure of the unknown continues to beckon, perhaps reminding us that there are still secrets waiting to be shared, buried beneath the scars of history. In the annals of history, there are moments that evoke intrigue and speculation, especially concerning the dynamics of war and power. One such fascinating element is known as the Black Book List, a document compiled during World War II by the German government that detailed individuals in Britain who were to be arrested in the event of a successful invasion. Imagine a time when the threat of invasion was palpable. The year was 1940, during the height of World War II, and Britain stood on the brink of a significant threat from Nazi Germany. For Adolf Hitler and his military strategists, the goal was not only to conquer territory, but to dismantle the very fabric of British leadership and society. They believed that an effective way to achieve this would be to remove key figures who could rally resistance. The Black Book List served as a blueprint for this strategy. It was filled with names of prominent British politicians, military leaders, and influential figures from various sectors. The intention was clear. If Germany had been able to launch a successful invasion of Britain, these individuals would have been detained, sending shockwaves throughout the nation and crippling resistance efforts. One of the most notable names on this list was Winston Churchill, who was serving as the Prime Minister at the time. Known for his indomitable spirit and unyielding resolve, he had become a symbol of defiance against the Axis powers. His speeches and unwavering leadership rallied not only Britain, but also the Allies. To Hitler, eliminating Churchill would have been akin to severing the head of a hydra, devastating to the British morale and governmental structure. Another prominent figure on the list was Lord Beaverbrook, the Minister of Aircraft Production, who played a crucial role in increasing Britain's aircraft production during a pivotal time in the war. His innovative approaches and ability to mobilize resources quickly contributed significantly to Britain's air defense. Detaining such a figure would have had a cascading effect on Britain's wartime industry and operational capabilities. The list also included prominent writers, artists, and intellectuals, individuals whose contributions to British culture and society were seen as vital in maintaining national identity. For instance, figures like George Orwell and H.G. Wells were known for their powerful works that inspired thought and resistance. Capturing these influential voices would have aimed to undermine the spirit of creativity and determination that was crucial during the war. In addition to these major figures, the Black Book List encompassed others from various sectors, including labor leaders and notable social figures. For instance, trade union leaders who were pivotal in mobilizing the workforce for production efforts were named, reflecting the German belief that solidarity among the working class would be necessary for any organized resistance. The existence of the Black Book List reinforces the idea that leaders often create plans in anticipation of how their adversaries might respond in times of crisis. It is a grim reminder of how warfare is not solely physical. It is also psychological. The act of targeting individuals for arrest aims to create fear and confusion, disrupting the chain of command and potentially leading to widespread chaos. Interestingly, the Black Book List has remained somewhat obscure in popular historical discourse. While many know about significant battle strategies and diplomatic maneuvers during the war, this list highlights a more insidious aspect of wartime planning: the intention to disrupt social structure by targeting key individuals. It reflects the belief that destroying the enemy's leadership could tilt the scale in favor of the aggressor. Moreover, this list is a testament to the intricate web of relationships and influence that characters in power hold. Each name on the list symbolized not just an individual but an entire network of connections that could be leveraged against the Nazi war machine. It illustrates the lengths to which one might go to eliminate opposition, viewing opponents not merely as adversaries in a conflict, but as integral parts of a larger societal construct. In conclusion, the Black Book List serves as a compelling aspect of World War II history, capturing the essence of how invasive strategies were not only military in nature, but also aimed at targeting the very heart of a nation's identity and resilience. It invites reflections on leadership, culture, and the importance of individuals in shaping national narratives, showcasing how pivotal figures often embody the hopes and struggles of entire populations. Contemplating this list allows for a richer understanding of the historical context, the nature of warfare, and the resilience of those who stand against oppression. The Nazi bell, known as Die Glocke in German, is one of the most fascinating and enigmatic topics within the realm of World War II-era theories and conspiracies. This secret project is often described as a highly classified experiment associated with advanced technology, purportedly related to anti-gravity and time travel. Although much of what we know is shrouded in mystery and speculation, the stories surrounding the Nazi bell have sparked curiosity and intrigue for decades. The origins of the Nazi bell are said to trace back to the late stages of World War II. The project allegedly took place in a hidden facility in Lower Silesia, an area in modern-day Poland. Reports suggest that the bell was a large, bell-shaped device, which might have measured approximately 4 meters in height and 5 meters in diameter. Eyewitnesses claimed that the bell was made of a metallic substance, possibly resembling a type of highly advanced, luminescent alloy. The project was reportedly led by scientists under the direction of the infamous SS officer Heinrich Himmler, who was deeply involved in the occult and esoteric studies. These scientists were allegedly tasked with devising revolutionary technology that could potentially turn the tide of the war. With Germany facing increasing pressure from the Allies, the race for technological superiority became paramount, leading to a desperate quest for breakthroughs in physics and engineering. According to accounts, the bell operated by harnessing a bizarre combination of energetic properties, including powerful magnetic fields and perhaps even gravitational manipulation. Some speculate that the device was designed to create a form of artificial gravity, or even generate an anti-gravity effect, allowing it to levitate or potentially travel through time. Reports describe the bell as emitting a strange bluish light and producing a deep, resonating sound when activated. It is said that this sound was likened to a heavy hum, which could be felt as much as heard. The substance known as 525 feet is often mentioned in connection with the bell. This highly mysterious liquid is believed to play a crucial role in the device's operations. 525 supposedly had unusual properties, potentially contributing to the bell's ability to defy gravity. The exact composition and function of this substance remain a source of speculation and mystery, adding to the allure of the entire project. However, the Nazi bell was not without its dangers. Eyewitness accounts allege that individuals who came into contact with the bell experienced severe health problems, often displaying symptoms similar to radiation sickness. The area surrounding the bell's testing site was said to be marked by unusual occurrences and phenomena, leading to rumors of the bell's potentially catastrophic effects on both people and the environment. Ultimately, as the war came to an end, the fate of the Nazi bell took a clandestine turn. With the downfall of the Nazi regime, many of its top scientists reportedly fled or were captured, leading to a perception that the knowledge related to the bell might have vanished along with them. Some suggest that the technology behind it was either hidden or repurposed by other nations in the post-war period, sparking theories about secret projects in the United States and Soviet Union. The shadows of history tend to engender theories that intertwine fact with fiction. This has been the case with the Nazi bell. As knowledge of advanced technologies emerged in the decades following the war, the speculation around the bell evolved as well. Some theories propose that experiments continued in secret locations around the world, expanding the narrative from mere technology to include elements of UFO lore and advanced military capabilities. In popular culture, the Nazi bell has been depicted in various books, documentaries, and films, framing it as a harbinger of a lost technology that could have changed the course of history. These portrayals often blend historical fact with imaginative storytelling, weaving a tapestry that holds the viewer's attention and evokes a sense of wonder about what might have been. In conclusion, the Nazi bell stands as a symbol of the unending quest for knowledge, power, and the unknown. It captures the imagination not only for the advanced scientific principles it supposedly encapsulates, but also for the mystery surrounding its existence and purpose. While concrete evidence remains elusive, the enduring allure of the Nazi bell serves as a reminder of humanity's perpetual engagement with the boundaries of science, technology, and the darker sides of ambition. As long as there are questions left unanswered, the echoes of the bell will continue to resonate through time, inviting exploration and contemplation of possibilities beyond our current understanding. During the aftermath of World War II, a shadowy narrative began to emerge, one that intertwined intrigue, conspiracy, and the complex legacies of a devastating conflict. One of the most captivating chapters in this story revolves around what became known as codename Odessa. This term referred to an alleged organization formed by former officers of the SS, the Nazi Party's paramilitary organization known for its brutal enforcement of Nazi ideology. The primary aim of Odessa was purportedly to aid in the escape of Nazis from Europe, helping them flee to South America, where they could live quietly, free from the repercussions of their wartime actions. The origins of Odessa can be traced back to the chaotic final days of the war in 1945. As Allied forces closed in on Germany, many high-ranking Nazis were increasingly desperate to find a means of escape. Fearful of facing justice for their crimes, some began to devise elaborate plans to evade capture. Within this atmosphere of fear and uncertainty, former SS officers began to form networks, utilizing their connections and resources to create routes for escape. One of the first significant developments associated with this network was the establishment of secretive pathways, often characterized by difficult terrain and hidden locations. The routes were carefully mapped out to avoid detection by the Allies. Many of these were based in countries that had once been sympathetic to the Axis powers, or were politically unstable, such as Argentina and Paraguay. These countries, often facing their own struggles, became a refuge for numerous individuals trying to start afresh after the war. The stories surrounding Odessa often featured legendary figures, like Adolf Eichmann, one of the architects of the Holocaust, who became notorious for his subsequent escape to Argentina. The efforts to secure safe passage for such individuals were shrouded in secrecy, involving bribes, false identities, and connections with sympathetic locals. These narratives create an aura of almost cinematic adventure, filled with intrigue and moral questions, as these former officers sought solace in their new lives, while the world around them grappled with the deep scars of war. Additionally, the influence of the Catholic Church played an important role in this story. Some accounts suggest that certain priests offered assistance in facilitating these escape routes, partially motivated by a desire to help war refugees, regardless of their pasts. This intertwining of religious institutions and escape networks adds layers to the already controversial actions taken by those involved in Odessa. The repercussions of these escapes were profound, leading many to argue that justice had not been served. As high-ranking officials settled comfortably in South America, the families of their victims struggled with the reality that those responsible for unimaginable atrocities were living peacefully, often without any acknowledgement of their past crimes. Over time, the covert operations of Odessa began to fade from public consciousness, but not without consequences. The presence of former Nazis in South America raised questions about the long-term impact on culture and politics in these host countries. Some communities embraced these individuals, while others were embroiled in complex discussions regarding accountability and historical memory. The tale of Codename Odessa encapsulates the desperate lengths to which individuals will go to escape their past. It serves as a reminder that history is often more tangled than the conventional narratives suggest. Each escape route told a story of hope and despair, courage and cowardice, illustrating the contradictions inherent in human nature. As time marched on, investigations into these escape networks began to surface. Journalists and historians pursued leads, sifting through the debris of post-war documents to reveal more about these clandestine operations. They uncovered the deep connections between the remnants of Nazism and the new societies in which they found refuge. This curiosity sparked debates about heritage, identity, and responsibility for the past, discussions that continue to resonate in our contemporary world. In the decades that followed, some people felt a moral obligation to reckon with the legacies of figures associated with Codename Odessa. Documentaries and films began to surface, depicting the lives of these individuals, exploring the complex ethical dilemmas surrounding those who sought safety in distant lands. Audiences were confronted with the realities of good and evil, often blurring the lines between the two. The saga of Codename Odessa is a compelling tale intertwined with human ambition, fear, and the overwhelming desire for survival. It stands as a testament to the lengths people will go to escape judgment, while reflecting the broader themes present in our understanding of history, particularly how we grapple with the stories of those who have shaped it, regardless of their motives. In the end, Codename Odessa remains not just a historical footnote, but a lingering enigma that poses questions about justice, memory, and the endless complexity of the human condition. The roads taken and the lives influenced by these decisions serve as a somber reminder of the past, urging us to reflect on how it continues to shape our present and future. Each unraveling thread of this story invites us to explore the moral landscapes of our own lives, pondering the choices we make and the histories we inherit. During the years following World War II, a fascinating series of unusual aerial phenomena began to capture the attention of both military officials and civilians alike across Scandinavia. Dubbed the ghost rockets, these mysterious objects were primarily reported in Sweden and neighboring countries, sparking intense debate and speculation. What were these strange flying crafts? Were they advanced technologies developed during the war? And if so, what was their origin? The ghost rockets were first noted in the summer of 1946, shortly after the end of the war. Witnesses described various shapes and sizes, many of which were characterized by their bright, fiery trails, slicing through the night sky. The sightings often occurred near bodies of water, adding an additional layer of intrigue to the already enigmatic occurrences. Eyewitness accounts varied widely, but some reported these objects resembling missiles or rockets, while others described them as resembling traditional flying saucers. Was it possible that remnants of Nazi technology were now being tested or used? The speculation surrounding these sightings was fueled by the knowledge that the Nazi regime had invested heavily in advanced aeronautical research. Projects like the German 5-2 rocket, designed by Wernher von Braun, had pushed the boundaries of technology and aerodynamic understanding. As the war ended, many of the scientists and engineers who contributed to these projects were captured by the Allies or fled to other countries to evade prosecution. This leads us to consider whether some of this advanced technology had continued to be developed post-war, potentially falling into the hands of rogue elements seeking to exploit it. During the early days of the ghost rocket phenomenon, airborne forces and military officials were quick to investigate these sightings. Reports were filed, interviews conducted, and investigations were launched. A particularly prominent report was released by the Swedish military, which noted over 2,000 reported incidents. Many of these sightings were attributed to misidentified conventional aircraft or natural phenomena, but others remained unexplained, keeping public interest piqued. The narrative surrounding the ghost rockets took on an even darker tone, when some theorists began to connect these mysterious sightings to potential espionage or advanced experimental tests being conducted by former Nazi scientists in secrecy. This hypothesis may resonate with listeners familiar with the Cold War and its landscape of clandestine operations. The technology that was once utilized in World War II became a potential tool for intimidation or advanced warfare strategies. Were these ghost rockets a sign of what was to come, an unintentional reflection of humanity's darker ambitions? Some researchers and enthusiasts diving into the history of the ghost rockets have noted striking similarities between the objects reported during this time and what are now commonly recognized as UFOs. This presents a captivating correlation, blurring lines between military technology, experimental aircraft, and the unknown. What if these crafts were, in fact, tests of advanced technologies that led to further developments in the areas of aerospace engineering? In seeking answers, investigators explored multiple dimensions, including weather balloons, unusual atmospheric occurrences, and even the psychological factors at play. The aftermath of war is often a breeding ground for anxiety, conspiracy theories, and a desperate need for understanding. Faced with uncertainty, people naturally sought a narrative that made sense of their circumstances. This dynamic only fueled the tales surrounding the ghost rockets, further entrenching them in popular culture. Many people who witnessed these phenomena shared similar sentiments of awe and fear while recounting their experiences. Imagine standing outside on a warm summer night, gazing at the stars, when a streak of light abruptly disrupts the serene sky. It could be exhilarating yet terrifying, invoking a fear of the unknown that transcends simple curiosity. This mix of emotions rendered the ghost rockets captivating subjects within every community where they were sighted. The intrigue surrounding the ghost rockets faded over time. However, its legacy remains. A significant amount of documentation still exists, containing testimonies and reports that historians and researchers continue to examine. The ghost rockets serve as a reminder of the intersection between advanced technology, military secrecy, and human curiosity. Our quest for understanding sometimes leads us down paths that are as bewildering as they are enlightening. The story of the ghost rockets challenges us to consider our relationship with the ideas of technology and power, particularly after a major conflict. It forces us to confront our history and the consequences that come with our pursuit of progress. Could it be that some of the craftsmanship and ingenuity that had a hand in demise could also spark inspiring discussions about what lies beyond our atmosphere? As we look back at the tales of the ghost rockets, we are reminded that not everything is easily explained, and some mysteries persist through the ages. They tell us about a time filled with hope, fear, and a search for answers in an ever-expanding universe. The phenomena might have faded, but their impact continues to resonate, influencing not just our understanding of the past, but also our outlook on the future. The mystery remains open-ended, challenging us to keep asking questions and seeking the truth, even in the depths of the unknown. The Spear of Destiny, also known as the Holy Lance, has captured imaginations for centuries, weaving its way through the fabric of legend, history, and mysticism. This artifact is believed to be the spear that pierced the side of Jesus Christ during his crucifixion, a moment that many see as rich with prophetic significance. Over time, the spear has been shrouded in a cloak of mystery, embraced by various cultures and religions, each adding layers to its storied past. The origins of the Spear of Destiny can be traced back to the Roman Empire. According to Christian tradition, a centurion named Longinus is said to have used this very lance to thrust into Christ's side, bringing forth blood and water, symbolically representing his suffering and the redemption of humanity. This act is believed to have given Longinus a moment of profound realization, leading to his own conversion. Folklore often depicts the lance not as just a weapon, but as an instrument imbued with divine power. Throughout history, the spear changed hands frequently, becoming a coveted relic. The lance became associated with great leaders and warriors. Charlemagne, for instance, wielded it in battle, believing it granted him divine favor. It was said that whoever possessed the Spear of Destiny would have the power to rule the world. This belief led many to seek the artifact, each hoping to harness the invincibility it supposedly conferred upon its wielder. As the centuries rolled on, the spear made its way through various kingdoms and empires, often cloaked in secrecy and intrigue. By the time of the Middle Ages, stories of the Holy Lance had intertwined with European mythology. It was said to rest in the possession of certain royal families, turning battles and altering the courses of nations. Kings and emperors would often go to great lengths to claim it, understanding that whoever held it might control the fate of their realm. In the 20th century, the Spear of Destiny re-emerged in modern timelines, particularly during the rise of Nazi Germany. Adolf Hitler and his followers were captivated by the idea of the lance, believing it to be a source of immense power and a key to invincibility. The Nazis, fascinated by the occult and ancient artifacts, sought the spear as part of their broader mission to control mystical forces. Their obsession was not just with power in a conventional sense, but an otherworldly dominance believed to be tied into their ideological pursuits. There are accounts of Nazi expeditions aimed at uncovering the spear's resting place. Reports indicate that the spear had been held in various locations, including a famous church in Vienna. Over time, as the Nazis sought to conjure strength from its mystical aura, the significance of the lance grew within their ranks. It represented not only military strength, but also a twisted reaffirmation of their ideological beliefs of superiority. Their quest led to various legends and stories, giving rise to an image of the spear as a talisman of ultimate triumph. Propaganda depicted it as a divine weapon that would ensure Germany's rightful place in the world. However, as World War II progressed, the fate of the Spear of Destiny became as turbulent as the war itself. With the fall of the Nazi regime, the artifacts they had coveted were lost or hidden away once again. In the modern world, the Spear of Destiny continues to spark interest. Many historians and mythologists explore its legacy, fascinated by how a single artifact can shape history and belief systems. The stories surrounding it have become part of cultural narratives, appearing in literature, films, and even video games. The intrigue of the spear intertwines with themes of power, faith, and human destiny. What remains compelling about the Spear of Destiny is not just its historical journey, but what it symbolizes. It is a reminder of how objects can carry immense emotional weight, influencing individuals and entire civilizations. The spear serves as a focal point for examining the nature of power, ambition, and the often blurred lines between myth and reality. Today, the allure of the Spear of Destiny remains undiminished. From ancient times to the present day, people continue to be fascinated by its story, the legends surrounding it, and its potential to encapsulate humanity's deepest hopes, fears, and desires. Whether viewed as a simple relic or a symbol of extraordinary power, the Spear of Destiny embodies a complex tapestry of history and myth, reflecting the eternal human quest for understanding and significance. As the stories of the lance continue to evolve, it invites curiosity and contemplation about the nature of power and the lengths to which individuals will go to compel their fates. Whether in folklore or as a historical mystery, the Spear of Destiny remains a fascinating piece of a larger puzzle, resonating throughout time and leaving an indelible mark on the imagination. In the aftermath of World War II, a network emerged known as Ratlines, which served as covert escape routes for Nazi war criminals fleeing Europe. These clandestine passages facilitated the movement of individuals seeking to evade justice and build new lives, primarily in South America. This intriguing historical phenomenon weaves together elements of conspiracy, secrecy, and human resilience, leading us to explore how these routes functioned and who was involved. The term ratlines originates from the nautical term used to describe the ropes on the rigging of a ship, which allows sailors to climb. Interestingly, this metaphor extends to the covert ways by which individuals navigated their escape from Europe. After the war concluded in 1945, many high-ranking officials and other members formerly associated with the Nazi regime found themselves in peril. The Allied forces were keen on bringing war criminals to justice, leading to a climate of fear that prompted swift action among those who could escape. The most notable aspect of the ratlines was the network of contacts that helped individuals find safe passage. Comprised of sympathetic clergy, former SS officers, and intelligence operatives, this alliance was crucial in orchestrating the exodus to South America. Among the key players were individuals like Juan Perón, the then leader of Argentina, who provided a welcoming environment for ex-Nazis due to his own interests in building a regime sympathetic to expatriates. The migratory patterns directed many towards countries such as Argentina, Paraguay, and Brazil, where they could live without the looming threat of prosecution. While many escaped via commercial means, others relied on clandestine operations. Some utilized false identities, facilitated by a network of forgers who created documents that allowed war criminals to assume new lives. These forgeries were particularly sophisticated, often utilizing real names of deceased individuals or those willing to sell their identities. Borders were crossed by clandestine means, sometimes with the assistance of sympathetic individuals or organizations. Churches played an unexpected role in this historical narrative. Certain Vatican officials, driven by a blend of humanitarian concerns and geopolitical strategy, provided support for those seeking asylum. The Catholic Church, with its extensive reach and resources, often turned a blind eye to the background of these fleeing individuals. Agostino Casaroli, a key figure in the Vatican, has been noted for his involvement in negotiating the escape of fleeing Nazis, showcasing the complexity of global political alliances during this tumultuous period. As the 1950s unfolded, the presence of former Nazis in South America became more pronounced. Some assumed high-profile roles within society, while others lived quietly, maintaining a low profile to avoid detection. Notably, individuals such as Klaus Barbie, the infamous Butcher of Lyon, integrated into local communities, evading apprehension for decades. His story reflects the broader patterns of how these individuals managed to adapt and find new lives in foreign lands. In addition to the operatives and sympathizers, the intelligence agencies of various countries, including the United States, were also involved in the web of ratlines. Some historians argue that parts of these operations were conducted in the interest of Cold War strategies. Certain former Nazis, especially those with expertise in military strategies or advanced technologies, were viewed as valuable assets against the communist bloc. The rationale here was that their knowledge could be utilized for national security interests, further complicating the moral implications of harboring such individuals. As these ex-Nazis integrated into South American societies, they often found themselves entangled in local political situations. For example, many became involved with authoritarian regimes, aiding military juntas or engaging in activities that mirrored their past behaviors. Over time, the stories and histories of some individuals began to resurface, sparking debates on justice, accountability, and the consequences of allowing such histories to fade into obscurity. The legacy of ratlines is complex and multifaceted. It raises critical questions about moral dilemmas, societal complicity, and the challenges of reconciliation. For those who chose to engage in the ratlines, the pursuit of freedom came at a significant cost, both ethically and emotionally. In many respects, the quiet lives they led in their new countries served as a haunting reminder of their past. Investigations into these routes continue to this day, unraveling stories of survival and complicity intertwined with global politics. Novels, documentaries, and academic studies explore these historical themes, shedding light on a hidden chapter of post-war Europe and its impacts around the world. As we delve deeper into this narrative, we discover not just the stories of the individuals who escaped, but a larger story of international politics, human resilience, and the ongoing quest for justice. Thus, the network of Ratlines serves as a stark reminder of how history can be shaped by the actions of individuals, both in pursuit of personal freedom and under the weight of collective guilt. The concept of a Nazi Antarctic base is one that weaves together history, conspiracy, and a touch of the mystical, capturing the imaginations of many over the years. It all begins in the dark days of World War II, amid the turmoil and chaos that engulfed much of the world. As the war dragged on, there were rumors and whispers regarding the scientific ambitions of Nazi Germany. It is suggested that these ambitions led them all the way to the icy expanse of Antarctica, a place that seemed as far from civilization as one could get. This theory holds that high-ranking members of the Nazi regime sought refuge and a place to carry out secret projects in the uncharted territories of the Antarctic. Proponents of this theory claim that Germany's interest in Antarctica was not merely about exploration, but rather an effort to establish hidden bases where experiments, particularly those related to advanced technology, could continue in secret. Some even speculate that this pursuit may have included attempts to develop new weapons or engage in biological research far from prying eyes. Stories have emerged over time of an expedition led by Admiral Richard E. Byrd in 1947, which has become a cornerstone for many who believe in this theory. Byrd's mission, known as Operation High Jump, allegedly sought to explore the vast land of Antarctica, but conspiracists suggest that his true purpose was to investigate seemingly strange activities and unidentified aircraft reported in the region. It is said that Byrd returned with stories of facing an unknown enemy in the polar skies, which fueled further speculation about what might have existed in the hidden depths of the continent. In addition to Byrd's expedition, other historical accounts add to the allure surrounding this conspiracy. Some believe that the Germans formed the New Swabia colony in Antarctica, a supposed settlement from which they conducted scientific work. Although most of the evidence for these claims is circumstantial at best and often dismissed by mainstream historians, they continue to evoke curiosity. The idea of secret bunkers, advanced technologies, and hidden agendas resting beneath towering icebergs and expansive snowfields adds a sense of intrigue that is hard to resist. In the context of World War II, the Nazis had a history of research into the occult and a fascination with the unknown. This fascination extended to ancient myths and civilizations. Some conspiracy theorists connect this obsession with stories of ancient aliens and long-lost civilizations, suggesting that Nazi scientists may have hoped to uncover powerful technologies or knowledge hidden in the long-forgotten recesses of Antarctica. They propose that these interests were part of a broader goal to achieve dominion over the world through technological superiority. As the years passed post-war, rumors persisted, with various books and documentaries shedding light on the alleged activities of the Nazis in Antarctica. Some go as far as to assert that remnants of these bases exist today, hidden from public view under layers of snow and ice. The notion suggests that if such bases were indeed constructed, they would undoubtedly contain secrets of advanced technologies or even extraterrestrial artifacts that humanity has yet to discover. The narrative surrounding the Nazi Antarctic base conspiracy have also inspired numerous fictional works, portraying a world where covert operations are the norm and where history might have veered into alternate realities. Movies and literature often portray secret societies operating in isolated places, harnessing ancient technologies, or making deals with otherworldly beings, feeding the imagination with endless possibilities. As with many conspiracy theories, the idea of a Nazi base in Antarctica captures both fear and fascination. It evokes a sense of mystery and exploration, challenging the limits of what we think we know about history. Throughout the years, individuals and researchers have pushed the boundaries in search of evidence, engaging with archival data, examining photographs, and piecing together testimonies that have trickled down through time. While the vast, remote landscape of Antarctica remains largely unexplored, the stories of a clandestine Nazi presence linger on in pop culture, captivating enthusiasts of the strange and unsolved. From internet forums discussing hidden bunkers to speculative documentaries that bring to life the haunting images of a bygone era, the discussion continues to evolve. In contemplating the depths of this conspiracy, it is worthwhile to consider what drives the human desire to uncover such secrets. Why do we find ourselves drawn to tales of hidden histories and lost technologies? The allure of the unknown can provide not only a sense of adventure, but also a reflection of our hopes and fears regarding knowledge and power. This ongoing narrative about Nazi activities in Antarctica encourages us to look closely at history, to question what we think we know, and to remain open to possibilities that challenge our understanding. Whether these theories hold any truth or not, they certainly ignite curiosity and spark discussions about the past, the present, and the mysteries that still lie before us waiting to be unraveled. The Enigma Machine is one of the most fascinating pieces of technology from the Second World War. It was developed in the early 1920s by German engineer Arthur Scherbius. At first, it was designed for business use, helping companies transmit sensitive data securely. However, it wasn't long before the German military saw its potential for encrypting communications. The Enigma became the standard for securing messages among the German armed forces, including the Army, Navy, and Air Force. The design of the Enigma machine is quite ingenious. It uses a series of rotating discs, or rotors, each of which can be set to various positions. When a key is pressed, an electric current passes through the rotors, which change the input letter to a new letter according to a complex wiring scheme. The result is a cipher, an encrypted message that can only be read by someone who knows the exact settings of the machine. The key to its complexity lies in the number of possible settings. With different combinations of rotors and their positions, the number of possible ciphers runs into the billions. The Enigma's capability to constantly change the cipher with every single letter typed made it a robust device for communication. Each day, a new setting was provided to the operators in a codebook, which detailed the configuration of the rotors and their positions. This complexity gave the Germans a false sense of security, as they believed that their messages were unbreakable. However, the Allies were determined to crack the Enigma code. The efforts were spearheaded by brilliant minds, including those from British intelligence, particularly at Bletchley Park. Among them was Alan Turing, a mathematician and logician whose insights into computation and cryptography were groundbreaking. He and his team developed a machine known as the bomb, which was designed to help deduce the settings of the Enigma machine. The bomb analyzed various ciphered messages and efficiently reduced the number of possible settings, eventually allowing the codebreakers to uncover daily configurations of the Enigma. One key breakthrough came from the retrieval of intelligence materials from a German U-boat. The capture of these documents revealed critical information about how the Enigma operated and how it was used in naval communications. The work of the codebreakers became increasingly vital, as they decoded messages that revealed enemy plans and movements, which ultimately contributed to several significant Allied victories. The relationship between the Enigma machine and the Allied cryptanalysts is also a story of ingenuity and collaboration. Scientists, mathematicians, and linguists worked hand in hand, sharing knowledge and techniques. This collaboration was essential for solving the complexities of the machine and for understanding patterns in the secret messages transmitted by German forces. As the war progressed, the Germans made changes to the Enigma machine, including the introduction of additional rotors, making it even more difficult to break the codes. However, the decoding efforts continued to evolve, with new machines and methods being developed to keep pace with German innovations. By the end of the war, the efforts at Bletchley Park had yielded an astonishing number of decrypted messages, significantly impacting the course of history. The story of the Enigma machine is not just about codes and ciphers. It's about the human spirit and the relentless pursuit of knowledge. The efforts to crack the Enigma symbolized a race against time and showcased the importance of cryptography as a tool for both defense and intelligence. The legacy of the Enigma machine extends beyond the war. It has influenced modern cryptography, leading to the development of secure communications that safeguard our digital world today. The impact of the Enigma's decryption has been profound. It is estimated that the work at Bletchley Park shortened the war by at least 2 years, saving countless lives. The endeavor has become a testament to how collaboration, creativity, and mental acuity can lead to profound breakthroughs, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges. Today, the Enigma machine stands as a historical symbol of ingenuity and secrecy. Many examples of the machine are preserved in museums, serving as reminders of a time when technology and cryptography played decisive roles in global events. The intrigue surrounding this remarkable device continues to inspire curiosity and research in cryptography, mathematics, and computer science. In conclusion, the Enigma machine embodies a unique intersection of technology, intelligence, and historical significance. It reminds us of the complexities of communication and the lengths to which individuals and organizations will go to protect their secrets. The efforts to decode its messages not only altered the trajectory of a world conflict, but also heralded the dawn of modern computing and data encryption. As we explore the stories of those who transformed the battlefield through their intellect, we reclaim the lessons of creativity, teamwork, and resilience that are relevant even today. The Vril Society is an intriguing chapter in the annals of secret societies. Often shrouded in mystery, it is said to have emerged in Germany during the early 20th century. Delving into its origins reveals a blend of esoteric beliefs, political ambitions, and an aura of the otherworldly that continues to captivate the imagination. The society is believed to have been founded around 1919, shortly after World War I, during a time when the repercussions of the war deeply affected the German psyche. Amidst the social upheaval and economic turmoil, many sought answers beyond the conventional. This quest often manifested in new spiritual beliefs, and the Vril Society tapped into this growing interest in the metaphysical. The name Vril itself is said to derive from a fictional substance described in Edward Bulwer Lytton's 1871 novel, The Coming Race. In this novel, Vril is portrayed as a powerful energy source that can be harnessed by a superior underground race known as the Vril Ya. The idea of harnessing Vril energies resonated with members of the society, who believed that they could tap into this power for various purposes, including enhancing human capabilities and promoting a vision for a new world order. One of the most captivating aspects of the Vril Society was its alleged connection to advanced technology and the development of flying saucers. Some claims suggest that the society sought to reverse engineer UFOs and other advanced technologies that were said to have been derived from extraterrestrial sources. This notion ties into broader themes of lost civilizations and ancient wisdom, as members believed that knowledge from the past could be rediscovered and wielded for the future. A prominent figure often associated with the Vril Society is Maria Orsic, who is said to be a clairvoyant and a medium. According to legend, she communicated with extraterrestrial beings and received transmissions that contained knowledge about advanced technologies and spiritual practices. Orsic, along with other members, reportedly believed that harnessing Vril energies could lead to breakthroughs that would elevate Germany and create a new, powerful race. This desire aligned with the ambitions of the Nazi regime, which was keen to exploit any potential advantage in its quest for dominance. The society attracted individuals who were not only interested in mystical energies, but also held beliefs rooted in Aryan supremacy and anti-Semitism. Its members were believed to be part of a broader esoteric movement that influenced various aspects of the Third Reich, including its ideology, occult practices, and even military endeavors. As a result, the Vril Society has sometimes been portrayed as a dark force behind the scenes, operating to steer the direction of the Nazi regime. However, the exact role of the Vril Society remains a topic of debate among historians and scholars. Some argue that much of the lore surrounding the society is based on myth and speculation rather than documented fact. The conflation of different esoteric groups, the use of sensationalistic sources, and the passage of time have only added to the fog of mystery. Despite this, the fascination with the society persists, spawning various conspiracy theories and books that delve into its alleged activities. The Vril Society also taps into broader themes surrounding secret societies in history. From the Freemasons to the Illuminati, secretive groups have often held a particular allure for those intrigued by power and hidden knowledge. The Vril Society embodies this intrigue but adds a layer of mysticism and otherworldly connection that sets it apart. It reveals a desire for understanding, influence, and perhaps even a glimpse into the unknown. The legacy of the Vril Society can also be seen in pop culture, where its mythos has been explored in films, literature, and even video games. These portrayals often amplify the fantastical elements of the society, intertwining it with science fiction tropes and adventure stories. The blending of reality and fiction has contributed to the enduring intrigue surrounding the group, ensuring that it remains a topic of discussion and exploration. In conclusion, the Vril Society represents a fascinating confluence of the mystical, the political, and the clandestine. Whether viewed as a genuine organization with real ambitions or as a tapestry of myth and exaggeration, its story remains compelling. The pursuit of Vril energies, the connections to UFOs, and the societal culture in which it emerged create a rich narrative that continues to engage those curious about the complexities of human belief and ambition. The society serves as a reminder of how darker periods in history often intertwined with the visionary hopes of their time, creating a legacy that still invites exploration and speculation today. Wewelsburg Castle an imposing structure nestled in the picturesque landscape of North Rhine-Westphalia, Germany, is shrouded in layers of history and mystery. Initially built in the 17th century as a fortress, it took on a new life in the 20th century, when it became associated with Heinrich Himmler, one of the most notorious figures of the Nazi regime and a key architect of its ideology. Under Himmler's influence, Wewelsburg transformed from a mere castle into a ceremonial center for the SS, the elite paramilitary organization of the Nazis. Himmler envisioned the castle as a sacred site, a place where the ideals of the Aryan race could be celebrated and rituals could take place. This was not just a matter of military strategy. It was rooted in Himmler's fascination with ancient mythology and occult practices. The castle was meant to be a symbol of a new world order, and its design reflected this ambition. One of the most intriguing features of Wewelsburg is its 3 towers, each symbolizing different aspects of Himmler's vision. The central tower, named after the Germanic god Wotan, was designed to serve as a spiritual axis. Himmler believed that the tower was a connection to the past, closely linked to the ancient rites of Germanic tribes. The mythological connections he sought to create were deeply significant to him, as he believed they could provide strength and legitimacy to the SS and Nazi ideology. Inside the castle, a grand hall was constructed, known as the SS Hall of Heroes. Its design drew inspiration from medieval legends and included a series of enormous, impressive murals depicting scenes of Germanic mythology and history. Here, Himmler aimed to hold grand ceremonies that would instill a sense of pride and purpose among SS members. The hall was outlined to feel like a temple, a place where the ideals of loyalty and strength could resonate deeply. The mystique of Wewelsburg also extended to its connection with occult practices and the SS's embrace of esoteric beliefs. Himmler was fascinated by the ideas of the occult and the power of symbols. He believed that ancient symbols could act as conduits for mystical energy, aiding in the cultivation of a new age of Aryan supremacy. Research into runes, ancient scriptures, and even how these ideologies linked to Nordic mythology became part of the castle's ethos. Himmler's fascination with the occult was not merely superficial, it played a significant role in the culture he sought to create within the SS. Rituals that might seem bizarre today were an integral part of this culture. Reports exist of gatherings that involve the use of ancient symbols, ceremonial dress, and even animal sacrifices conducted to invoke spiritual favor. For Himmler, these practices were a means of binding the SS members to a deeper, almost spiritual cause. The surrounding area of Wewelsburg also holds secrets, with many believing that ancient artifacts and sites connect to its mystical narrative. Some historians have explored the possibility that the castle was designed to align with ley lines, hypothetical lines of energy that crisscross the earth, believed to foster a greater connection to the spiritual world. Such theories, while not universally accepted, add to the enigma that surrounds Wewelsburg. Interestingly, Wewelsburg's history did not end with the fall of the Nazi regime. After World War II, the castle was repurposed for various uses, including as a youth hostel. Its transformation over the years reflects the challenge of reconciling a site so closely tied to dark moments in history with contemporary society's approach to remembrance and education. Today, Wewelsburg stands as a reminder of the complex weaving of history, ideology, and mysticism. It serves as a focal point for discussions about how spaces can hold memories of both darkness and light. Visitors to the castle can explore its halls and towers and reflect on the stories that echo through its walls, offering insights into the past and a lens through which to examine the future. Each tour of Wewelsburg is an opportunity to delve into the labyrinthine stories held within its stone walls. As you wander through the castle, consider how its design, its history, and the beliefs of those who inhabited it contributed to its unique character. The juxtaposition of beauty and malevolence is evident, as one cannot overlook the aesthetic allure of the castle while acknowledging its chilling connections to a dark legacy. Wewelsburg is more than a castle. It is a testament to the ways in which ideologies can intertwine with culture and history, leaving behind a legacy that demands reflection and understanding. The tales of Heinrich Himmler and the SS may fade with time, but the spectral whispers of the past remain, urging us to consider the forces that shape our world and the stories we choose to tell. In contemplating Wewelsburg Castle, one embarks on a journey through time, symbolism, and the human experience, leaving an indelible mark on the imagination. The idea of a Nazi Moonbase theory, is a fascinating and provocative concept that intertwines history, science fiction, and conspiracy theory. The theory suggests that during World War II, the Nazis were not only focused on their military ambitions on Earth, but were also exploring the possibility of establishing a base on the Moon. This narrative captures the imagination, as it combines elements of advanced technology with the intrigue of a shadowy epoch in history. Some proponents of this theory point to the advanced scientific and technological research that Germany pursued during the war. The Nazis had various ambitious projects, from the V-2 rocket, which was one of the first long-range guided ballistic missiles, to the Nazi interest in other technologies that seemed visionary for their time. The capabilities they developed in rocketry were groundbreaking, and the work of scientists like Wernher von Braun, who would later play a crucial role in NASA's Apollo missions, hints at the advanced thinking around space travel. Imagine a world where, in the midst of intense warfare, the Nazis were also directing their energies toward the cosmos. Was there a secret program designed to explore the Moon? Proponents of the theory suggest that, hidden away from the public eye, within the depths of their underground facilities, the Nazis might have worked on technologies and spacecraft capable of reaching lunar surfaces. The secretive nature of their operations makes this an intriguing subject to explore. The theory also considers the significant resources that might have been funneled into such a project. Just as they invested heavily in their military technology, could they have found a way to divert some of this focus to space exploration? Moreover, the idea of a lunar base opens up questions about why the Nazis might have pursued such an endeavor. One line of thinking suggests that they sought to establish a powerful foothold in space, imagining a future where they could launch operations from the Moon to exert control over Earth. Another interesting angle is the possibility of patenting technology beyond our atmosphere. The idea that a Nazi moon base might have developed plans for mining lunar resources or establishing a strategic location for conducting operations back on Earth creates a thrilling narrative. Could they have envisioned a base stocked with resources extracted from the Moon, possibly giving them an upper hand in global power? This conjecture has fueled many discussions within philosophical and conspiracy circles over the years. The established idea of an Aryan race being the pinnacle of human achievement might have been twisted into a vision of conquering not just the Earth, but also the final frontier in space. A lunar base could be portrayed as the ultimate symbol of technological prowess and superiority. Some enthusiasts draw connections between the ideas surrounding Nazi moonbase efforts and the theories surrounding ancient astronauts or extraterrestrial influences. These ties suggest that if a Nazi lunar base were built, it could have been influenced by speculation or knowledge of advanced technology from otherworldly sources. This speculative overlap presents a wide range of possibilities as well as a wealth of potential narratives, allowing for a rich blend of science fiction and alternate history. There have also been various pop culture representations of the theory, with films, documentaries, and even video games exploring the concept that the Nazis made it to the Moon before anyone else. The notion of secret Nazi operations on the lunar surface has inspired creators and storytellers to envision scenarios where these ambitious projects could have actually taken place. These fictional explorations add an engaging layer to the conversation, showing just how vivid and compelling this theory can be. Moreover, the intriguing labyrinth of symbolism and conspiracy surrounding the Nazi moonbase theory continues to captivate researchers and historians alike. It raises questions about what we consider improbable or impossible. How often do we dismiss ideas that seem too far-fetched? When we look back through history, perhaps we should keep an open mind about the potential for secret endeavors and ambitious projects that may well have been cloaked in mystery. As we think about this theory, it's essential to reflect on the broader implications of zealotry and innovation in times of turmoil. The confrontation between impressive technological advancements and ethical considerations poses complex questions. What drives groups or societies to push boundaries, and why do they chase ambitions that stretch beyond their current reach? The idea of the Nazis looking to the Moon is ultimately a mirror, reflecting humanity's relationship with its dreams, its aspirations, and the darker corners of its history. In summary, the Nazi moonbase theory is not merely a wild tale of conspiracy, but rather a confluence of recognized historical elements and speculative possibilities. It keeps alive the imagination of what could have been during the Second World War. Whether painting a picture of ambition, innovation, or cautionary tales from the past, the theory invites us to reflect on the nature of human curiosity and the undeniable drive to explore beyond our earthly realm. The Thule Society, was a secretive organization that emerged in Germany in the early 20th century, taking its name from a mythical land described by ancient Greek and Roman authors. This group was formed in Munich in 1918 during a time of great political upheaval, social unrest, and national humiliation following Germany's defeat in World War I. The Thule Society is often seen as a precursor to the more widely recognized political entities that would rise to power in the years that followed, notably the Nazi Party. Initially, the Thule Society began as a Bavarian study group dedicated to exploring Germanic mythology, the occult, and a race-based ideology that was prevalent during this period. Members of the Thule Society were deeply interested in concepts of Aryan superiority, and they sought to reclaim a so-called pure German heritage. It was a reflection of the broader nationalistic and often xenophobic sentiments that were gaining traction in post-war Germany. They believed in a mythical past that portrayed Aryans as a superior race, fostering a worldview that marginalized other ethnic groups. The society involved itself in various political activities, and its members included many influential figures who would later play significant roles in the formation of the Nazi Party. One notable connection is with Rudolf Hess and other early Nazi Party leaders who were drawn to the society's ideology. The Thule Society was instrumental in establishing the German Workers' Party, which would soon evolve into the National Socialist German Workers' Party, commonly known as the Nazi Party. Their influence in the early 1920s was crucial, as they provided a foundation of ideas that resonated with the frustrations and aspirations of the German populace. Furthermore, it is important to note that the Thule Society was not merely a political organization. It was steeped in mysticism and pseudoscientific beliefs. Members often engaged in esoteric rituals, drawing from various occult traditions and practices. They promoted an Aryan mythos that included connections to ancient civilizations and a belief in hidden knowledge that could be unlocked through these practices. This blend of nationalism, mysticism, and racism was compelling for many who felt disenfranchised and disillusioned after the war and the subsequent Treaty of Versailles. The society fostered a range of conspiratorial beliefs, often viewing Jews and other minorities as scapegoats for Germany's societal issues. This anti-Semitic ideology was crucial in shaping Nazi policies later on, acting as a blueprint for the systematic persecution of Jews and other groups deemed undesirable in the Nazi state. The Thule Society's anti-Semitic narrative was not just based on political beliefs. It was intertwined with their racial theories and a distorted interpretation of history. Eventually, as the Nazi Party began to rise in power, the Thule Society's influence waned. Adolf Hitler sought to consolidate his power, often moving away from the occult and mystical symbolism that characterized earlier groups. Nonetheless, the early ideas and sentiments promoted by the Thule Society had already laid groundwork for the broader ideological framework of the Nazi movement. The party adopted some of the symbolic elements and racially charged language that marked the Thule Society's discourse, thus inheriting a deeply rooted legacy of racial extremism. The rise of National Socialism marked an era during which numerous societal ills were blamed on so-called foreign elements, resonating with the Thule Society's anti-Semitic rhetoric. As the Nazis gained control of Germany, many of the conspiracies and beliefs espoused by the Thule Society became mainstream. The propaganda machine of the Nazi regime utilized these ideas, transforming fringe beliefs into state-sanctioned ideologies that justified extreme actions and violence against targeted groups. Despite this, the Thule Society remained enigmatic and shrouded in mystery even as it faded from immediate significance. It has become a subject of much speculation among historians and enthusiasts of the occult, often romanticized or distorted in popular culture. Today, the society is assessed not only for its role in the historical narrative of early 20th century Germany, but also for its representation of how extremist ideologies can permeate politics and society through the guise of folklore, mysticism, and national pride. In summary, the Thule Society represents a fascinating yet troubling facet of early 20th century German history. Its intertwining of nationalism, mysticism, and racism showcases how ideas can evolve and coalesce into movements that have profound consequences. Understanding the origins and influences of such organizations can help unpack the complex layers of history that lead to significant societal changes and upheavals, reminding us of the power of ideology in shaping human actions and events throughout history. In the vast and arid landscapes of North Africa, a story of mystery and speculation weaves its way through history, capturing the imagination of treasure hunters and historians alike. This story revolves around a collection of treasures associated with Erwin Rommel, the famous German general during World War II, often dubbed the Desert Fox. Known for his strategic prowess and leadership in the North African campaign, Rommel has become a captivating figure, not just for his military tactics, but also for the treasures that are believed to have been looted under his command. As the conflict raged across North Africa, thousands of pieces of art, jewelry, and valuable artifacts were seized, either directly by the German forces or from the defeated Allied troops. Some of these treasures are thought to have been accumulated by Rommel himself, leading to speculation that he hid a significant cache of loot in the vast and inhospitable terrain of the Sahara Desert. Stories of this hidden treasure have sparked numerous expeditions and treasure hunts, with many hoping to uncover what remains of this elusive collection. One of the legends that surrounds the treasure of Rommel posits that it includes not only tangible valuables, but also priceless artifacts from ancient civilizations. It is said that the Nazis had a keen interest in archaeology and sought to acquire relics of historical significance during their conquests. With this in mind, the rumored treasure may contain items from Egypt's rich history, perhaps a golden pharaoh's mask, or jewels that once adorned royal tombs. As the war came to a close, many German soldiers and officers were determined to keep their stolen goods safe from the advancing Allied forces. It is widely speculated that Rommel, known for his strategic thinking, devised a plan to hide some of these treasures in remote locations across the desert. These hidden spots were carefully chosen to minimize the chances of discovery, utilizing the desolate and difficult terrain to their advantage. The search for Rommel's treasure has drawn adventurers from around the globe who have embarked on expeditions through the unforgiving sands of the Sahara. Armed with maps, stories, and a sense of adventure, these treasure seekers have braved the harshness of the environment in hopes of unearthing gold and artifacts lost to time. Many have spent countless hours scouring the landscape, following leads that often result in nothing more than a sun-baked rock formation or an ancient ruin. Interestingly, the story of Rommel's treasure is also intertwined with local folklore. For generations, North African communities have shared tales of hidden wealth beneath the sand. Some believe that the treasures are fiercely protected by the spirits of those who once resided in the region, adding a mystical element to the quest for Rommel's hoard. These tales create a rich tapestry of history and legend, combining the harsh realities of war with the allure of buried treasure. In addition to the legend of Rommel, there are other aspects to consider. The various factions that operated in North Africa during and after the war, including resistance movements and local tribes, played roles in the preservation or destruction of treasures. Some artifacts may have been hidden away by locals who wanted to protect them from looting, while others may have been lost in the chaos of impending conflicts. Moreover, highlights from after the war, when spies and military personnel rummaged through the remnants of Hitler's regime, add another layer of intrigue to the narrative of treasure hunts in North Africa. In the decades that followed, the desert secrets became a magnet for curious minds. Many who ventured into the desolate landscapes recounted their encounters with unusual relics or remnants of war that hinted at the catastrophic events that unfolded, merging history with the quest for precious loot. As the years passed, searches and speculations about Rommel's treasures have never truly died down. The thrill of the hunt continues to entice new generations, both in academics and in adventurous spirits, prompting projects exploring the deeper history of Nazi treasure hunting in North Africa. Whether driven by treasure or curiosity about the past, the stories surrounding these treasures endure, captivating those who seek to uncover the connections between wartime dealings and the ancient splendor of the desert. While definitive proof of Rommel's hoarded treasures remains elusive, the intrigue surrounding their existence serves as a reminder of the complex legacies left by war. It illustrates how history can shroud itself in mystery, allowing for tales that ignite the imagination and inspire journeys into uncharted territories. From ancient artifacts to the modern search for lost riches, the legend of the treasure of Rommel finds itself positioned at the intersection of history, myth, and adventure, forever inviting those willing to brave the sands of time to join in the quest. The story of Hanebu flying discs is one that blends elements of history, mythology, and speculation. These supposed advanced technological marvels have captured the imagination of many, sparking curiosity and debate over their origins and capabilities. The narrative begins during World War II, a time when scientific research and military innovation were at the forefront of global warfare. Amidst this backdrop, Nazi Germany was rumored to be working on various secret weapons projects, including aircraft that looked remarkably like the flying saucers often depicted in popular culture. The Hanebu, sometimes referred to as the Hanebu, is believed to be one of these experimental aircraft. Some sources claim that these discs were designed to utilize anti-gravity technology, allowing them to hover silently and move with astonishing speed. Envision a saucer-shaped craft, possibly made of a lightweight yet incredibly strong material, capable of vertical takeoff and landing. The legend suggests that the Hanebu could not only soar through the sky with agility, but could also achieve incredible altitudes, far surpassing that of conventional aircraft. According to various accounts, these flying discs were part of a broader program of advanced aerospace technology developed by the Nazis, including experiments on electrogravitics and other speculative technologies. Allegedly, this research was carried out by engineers and scientists who were either coerced into service or actively pursued by the regime due to their expertise. Some even speculate that certain physicists may have had access to knowledge derived from ancient texts or alien technology, leading to designs that seemed almost too advanced for the time. As the war progressed and the tides turned against Germany, the narrative becomes even murkier. Some proponents of the Hanebu theory suggest that as the regime crumbled, these crafts were either hidden or destroyed to prevent them from falling into enemy hands. Stories have emerged of sightings throughout Central Europe, with witnesses describing strange, disc-shaped objects performing maneuvers that defied the laws of physics as understood at the time. While many theorists discuss the technological aspects of the Hanebu, they also touch on the implications and fears surrounding such advancements. The idea of flying discs resonates on multiple levels. It raises questions about the limits of human ingenuity, the moral dimensions of technological warfare, and the perennial fascination with the possibility of life beyond Earth. Is it possible that the pursuit of victory in war could unlock secrets that humanity is not prepared to handle? The intrigue surrounding these flying discs continued well after the war ended. Various conspiracy theories emerged, suggesting that remnants of the Hanebu project might have been taken to other nations, including the United States and the Soviet Union. This led to numerous claims of recovered technology and subsequent advancements in aerospace engineering during the Cold War. Sightings of unidentified flying objects across the world only fueled the fire, with some observers convinced that these were no ordinary aircraft, but rather remnants of Nazi innovation. Apart from the speculative technologies, the Hanebu has also captured the attention of enthusiasts who admire its design aesthetics. In many artistic representations, the Hanebu is portrayed as sleek and futuristic, with a smooth underbelly contrasting against a metallic surface. Some designs even incorporate intricate symbols and motifs reflecting the era's fascination with the occult and esoteric knowledge. This artistic allure adds another layer to the Hanebu legend, giving it a unique place in popular culture. In recent years, the Hanebu phenomenon has found its way into various media, from documentaries to fictional narratives. The captivating storyline of secret technologies, world power, and enigmatic designs strikes a chord with audiences who are drawn to the unknown. Whether through film, literature, or digital content, the Hanebu serves as a reminder of the limits of our understanding and our desire to unlock the mysteries of the universe. While historians continue to debate the legitimacy of claims surrounding the Hanebu flying discs, it is undeniable that this story has sparked a blend of curiosity, fascination, and skepticism. It invites endless exploration into the realms of history and science, often blurring the lines between fact and fiction. The stories surrounding the Hanebu encourage us to consider the potential consequences of human innovation, the allure of the unknown, and the profound impact of imagination in shaping our understanding of the past and our vision for the future. Whether viewed through a lens of realism or mystery, the tales of the Hanebu flying discs serve as an intriguing glimpse into a world where science fiction and history intersect, leaving us wondering about what else remains hidden in the shadows of our past. Exploring the legends of the Hanebu evokes a sense of adventure and discovery, reminding us that history is often layered with stories waiting to be uncovered, prompting us to look up at the skies and dream of possibilities yet to come. The Amber Room, often referred to as the eighth wonder of the world, is a fascinating and mysterious tale woven into the fabric of history. Originally constructed in the early 18th century, this breathtaking chamber was located in the Katyn Palace of Tsarskoye Selo, near St. Petersburg in Russia. What made the Amber Room so remarkable was its stunning design, which was crafted entirely from amber, gold leaf, and mirrors. The warm, golden glow of the amber panels captivated everyone who entered, creating an ambience of opulence and beauty. The story of the Amber Room begins with Friedrich I of Prussia, who commissioned its creation. A team of craftsmen worked tirelessly to assemble the room, using materials sourced from all over Europe. The panels were intricately carved and finished to perfection. Visitors would often remark on the alluring scent of amber that filled the space, a reminder of the natural beauty contained within its walls. Over the years, the room underwent numerous renovations and modifications, evolving into a splendid showcase of Baroque art and design. During World War II, the fate of the Amber Room took a tragic turn. In 1941, as Nazi German forces invaded the Soviet Union, the room became a target of their plundering. The soldiers recognized the immense cultural and historical value of the Amber Room and sought to strip it of its treasures. Within just a few days, the once glorious chamber, filled with amber and gilded decorations, was stripped bare, leaving only bare walls and broken dreams. The theft of the Amber Room was not just an act of pillaging. It was a profound loss for humanity and a crime against cultural heritage. The Nazis transported the precious amber and artifacts to Germany, where it was said to have been displayed in various locations, but much of it seemed to vanish without a trace. What followed was a decades-long mystery surrounding the whereabouts of the Amber Room. Many believe that it was either hidden away or destroyed during the chaos of the war, while others think it may still be concealed in an unknown location. Efforts to recover the Amber Room began almost immediately after the war. Searching for any remnants became a priority for the Allied forces. But the fragments of information were scarce and often misleading. Over the years, various tales and rumors emerged, suggesting that the room might have been rediscovered, destroyed, or even hidden in a secret location. Some enthusiastic amateur sleuths dedicated their lives to tracking down this lost masterpiece, fueled by passion and a sense of adventure. In the 1970s, a monumental effort was launched to recreate the Amber Room in its original glory. Under the auspices of the Leningrad Restoration and Restoration Project, skilled artisans painstakingly studied photographs and drawings from the past, working with incredible precision to replicate the original design. After more than 20 years of dedication, the reconstruction of the Amber Room was finally completed in 2003, transforming it once again into a showpiece for visitors who could marvel at its beauty. Today, the Amber Room stands as a testament to human creativity and resilience. Visitors from around the world flock to the Katyn Palace to witness its stunning amber panels and intricate gold accents. The reconstructed chamber serves not only as an homage to the past, but also as a reminder of the importance of preserving cultural heritage. Its story has inspired countless documentaries, books, and even movies, drawing attention to the significance of art and history amidst the backdrop of conflict. The mystery of the original Amber Room continues to captivate experts and enthusiasts alike. Teams of historians and archaeologists continue to search for clues that might lead to the discovery of the lost treasures. Whether it is a hidden bunker in the depths of the German countryside or a forgotten stash of amber tucked away in a dusty attic, the allure of the Amber Room remains strong. Each lead is seen as a glimmer of hope in the quest to uncover the truth behind its disappearance. This tale of the Amber Room is more than just a story of theft. It is a captivating narrative that speaks to the fragility of cultural heritage and the resilience of hope. The quest to recover lost treasures is one that resonates with many. It highlights our collective responsibility to cherish and protect our shared history and the artistic endeavors that define humanity. Every year, the reconstructed Amber Room continues to inspire awe and reflection, a symbol of the enduring spirit of creativity and cultural identity. Imagine walking through the magnificent halls of the Katyn Palace, the glow of the amber reflecting off the intricate mirrors. Each panel tells a story of artistry and craftsmanship that transcends time and conflict. The narrative of the Amber Room serves as a reminder to appreciate the beauty of our world and to recognize the importance of preserving our artistic and cultural heritage for future generations. As the mystery of the original Amber Room endures, so does the story of resilience and the quest for beauty amidst chaos. In the shadows of World War II, amidst the chaos and conflict, rumors of a mysterious device known as Die Glocke began to circulate. This term, which translates to the bell in German, is associated with one of the most intriguing tales of secret weaponry an advanced technology devised by the Nazis. The stories surrounding this alleged invention blend elements of science fiction, conspiracy, and historical speculation, making it a captivating subject of exploration. According to various claims, Die Glocke was a top-secret project developed by the Nazi regime in the waning years of the war. Allegedly crafted at a remote location in Poland, this device was said to resemble a bell-like shape, with a shiny exterior and mystical properties. However, the fascination surrounding Die Glocke extends far beyond its appearance. Speculation suggests it might have been connected to advanced propulsion technology or even time travel capabilities, making it an object of both fear and intrigue. Theories about its purpose and functionality vary widely. Some proponents of the mystery suggest that Die Glocke was designed to harness an unknown energy source, which could potentially allow for anti-gravity propulsion. Imagine a device capable of flying silently and swiftly through the air, evading radar detection, and capable of performing maneuvers far beyond the abilities of conventional aircraft. The idea of such technology raises countless questions about what could have been possible if these advancements were fully realized. Moreover, the connection with time travel fuels the imagination further. Could Die Glocke have been developed with the intention of manipulating time itself? If true, this could imply that the Nazis were not merely engineers of weaponry, but explorers of dimensions beyond our comprehension. The thought evokes images of scientists attempting to unlock the secrets of the universe, bending the very fabric of time and space with their ingenuity. While these notions may sound like the stuff of science fiction, the founding tales surrounding Die Glocke are backed by accounts from individuals who claim to have been involved in the project. These testimonies, often enveloped in ambiguity, hint at a series of experiments, some of which reportedly yielded strange and alarming results. For instance, there are allegations that those who worked on Die Glocke became ill or experienced bizarre phenomena, sparking further intrigue about the device's true nature and its consequences. The fascination with Die Glocke continues to be sustained by a mix of mystery and conjecture. Various researchers and enthusiasts have sought to uncover the truth behind the rumors, delving into historical documents, interviewing witnesses, and analyzing the political climate of the time. However, concrete evidence of the device's existence remains elusive, leading many to wonder whether Die Glocke was simply an elaborate hoax or a figment of imagination amidst the chaos of war. Furthermore, the allure of Die Glocke raises questions about the technological advancements achieved during that era. The World War II period witnessed tremendous leaps in numerous fields, including aviation, rocketry, and nuclear physics. Many of these advancements laid the groundwork for modern technology, yet there remains a curiosity about what might have occurred had certain projects been successfully completed. Were there experimental devices that never saw the light of day because of the war's turmoil? Die Glocke stands as a symbol of the mysteries lost to time in the pursuit of power and innovation. As decades have passed since World War II, Die Glocke has cemented its place in popular culture, inspiring books, documentaries, and even fiction. This story serves as a reminder of the extent to which humanity's ambition can drive innovation, sometimes into realms that challenge the fundamental laws of physics. The legend of Die Glocke continues to capture the imagination of people around the world, serving as an emblem of both hope and fear about technology and its potential ramifications. In exploring this enigma, we find ourselves reflecting on the dual nature of technological advancement. The same fascination that fuels the dreams of scientists also intrigues conspiracy theorists and historians alike. How close were the creators of Die Glocke to achieving the impossible? What was the fine line between innovating for progress and venturing into realms better left unexplored? Ultimately, while the true nature of Die Glocke remains shrouded in mystery, it serves as a powerful reminder of the enduring human spirit and the unyielding desire to explore the unknown. Whether a myth or a reality, the essence of Die Glocke lies not only in its potential as a powerful weapon or machine, but also in its invitation to ponder the possibilities that lie beyond our current understanding. Its legacy challenges us to question the limits of what we believe is possible, and inspires us to continue pushing the boundaries of our imagination and intellect. Die Glocke may remain an unsolved puzzle of history, but it opens doors to conversations about our past, our present, and the future awaiting humanity. In this whirlwind of speculation and intrigue, we are reminded that the quest for knowledge and understanding is, in itself, a timeless journey. Each story we share, each question we ask, brings us a step closer to revealing the secrets of our universe, even if some mysteries, like Die Glocke, may never be fully unveiled. The idea of Nazi UFO experiments holds a certain fascination and intrigue for many. This narrative is woven into the tapestry of historical mysteries, conspiracy theories, and a touch of science fiction. Emerging from the ashes of World War II, several reports and rumors surfaced, suggesting that the Nazis were not only interested in conventional weaponry, but also in advanced technologies that bordered on the fantastical, including unidentified flying objects. To understand the basis for these claims, we first need to look at the era when the Third Reich was in power. During the late 1930s and early 1940s, Germany was at the forefront of technological innovations, from rockets to jet engines. Figures such as Wernher von Braun made significant strides in rocket technology, which would later form the foundation of space exploration. However, rumors began to circulate that this advanced research was connected to something far more extraordinary. One of the most commonly cited pieces of evidence for Nazi UFO experiments comes from the so-called Bell Project, known as Die Glocke. According to various accounts, it was a top-secret Nazi project that allegedly developed a device capable of incredible technologies, including anti-gravity propulsion. The device was said to resemble a bell, hence the name. Witnesses claimed that it generated unknown energy fields, and theories suggest it could have been an early attempt to develop flying saucers. Different accounts suggest that Die Glocke was located at a facility in Poland, known as the Wenceslas mine, where it was hidden from Allied forces. Some even claim that the Germans were able to make the object lift off the ground. While there is no concrete evidence to support these wild claims, they have sparked the imagination of many conspiracy theorists and enthusiasts alike. Another element contributing to the intrigue around Nazi UFOs is the supposed collaboration between the Nazis and various occult societies. The Thule Society and the Vril Society, notable for their interest in esoteric knowledge and technology, are often mentioned in connection to these claims. Some believe that these groups purportedly contacted extraterrestrial beings and sought to harness their knowledge for advanced technology. The blending of mysticism and science has created a riveting narrative that continues to captivate people today. Additionally, the military advancements made by the Nazis were often shrouded in secrecy. As the war progressed, several scientists, engineers, and inventors who worked on these secret projects vanished or were never heard from again. This led to a plethora of conspiracy theories, suggesting that these individuals were developing groundbreaking technologies that the world has yet to discover. Interestingly, after World War II, numerous German scientists, including Wernher von Braun, were brought to the United States as part of Operation Paperclip, where their expertise was utilized for the Cold War space race. This further fueled speculation about the technologies they might have developed before their capture. Were these innovations the result of natural evolution in technology, or did they stem from experiments conducted in the shadows of the Nazi regime? The post-war period saw an explosion of UFO sightings in the United States, coinciding with increased public interest in space and technology. The connection between these surging UFO reports and the legacy of Nazi research has been a topic of discussion among ufologists, historians, and skeptics alike. Some believe that remnants of Nazi technology made their way into the hands of other global powers, spurring advancements that led to modern UFO encounters. Adding to this complexity is the phenomenon of anti-gravity technology, a subject of fascination for many. Some theorists propose that the Nazis were ahead of their time, and that their research on anti-gravity could explain numerous UFO sightings over the decades. The notion that secret knowledge about manipulating gravity could have been uncovered by wartime scientists is a tantalizing idea that remains unproven, but captivating nonetheless. In the world of science fiction and pop culture, these ideas have been transformed into stories and films that explore the intersection of Nazi ambitions and advanced technology. From fictional narratives to documentaries, the Nazi UFO mythos is a rich subject that treads on the edge of history and imagination. One can't help but be intrigued by the potential secrets that may have been lost to history, obscured by the chaos and destruction of war. In exploring the topic of Nazi UFO experiments, it's essential to distinguish between fact and fiction. While some aspects of these narratives arise from genuine historical events, much of the intrigue is fueled by speculation and myth. The true nature of what the Nazis were researching remains shrouded in mystery. As we reflect on the past, the intersection of history and conspiracy offers a glimpse into how fear, hope, and curiosity can generate stories that transcend time. The idea of advanced technology, whether grounded in reality or imagined, continues to inspire discussions about where humanity stands in the universe and what lies beyond our current understanding. The unanswered questions about the Nazis and their supposed forays into the world of UFOs remind us that history is often more complex and enigmatic than it appears on the surface. Perched high atop the Obersalzberg mountain in Germany, the Kehlsteinhaus, more commonly known as the Eagle's Nest, stands as a remarkable testament to history and architecture. This picturesque building, surrounded by breathtaking views of the Bavarian Alps, was built as a retreat for Adolf Hitler. Despite its dark connections to the Nazi regime, the Eagle's Nest has become a site of remarkable interest, drawing visitors from all around the world. Construction of the Eagle's Nest began in 1928 and was completed in 1938. It was designed to be a place where Hitler could receive guests and hold discussions, emphasizing the importance of nature as a backdrop for political discourse. The building is notable for its innovative architecture, blending stone and wood to create a structure that seemed to emerge naturally from the mountain itself. Visitors can admire the craftsmanship that went into constructing this retreat, from the ornate interior to the stunning terrace overlooking the sprawling landscape below. One of the most interesting features of the Eagle's Nest is its access road, a marvel of engineering at the time. This narrow, winding road was built to allow cars to reach the summit. The road itself was carved into the mountainside, showcasing the ingenuity necessary to create a path at such a high altitude. Upon arriving at the top, guests would find themselves stepping into a world that felt removed from the chaos of the outside. The panoramic views were said to be nothing short of awe-inspiring, offering vistas that could stretch for miles. Inside, the Eagle's Nest features a main dining area, where Hitler is believed to have entertained various dignitaries and personal acquaintances. The substantial stone fireplace and rustic wooden beams create a cozy yet grand atmosphere. The walls are adorned with historical photographs, giving insight into the past events that took place within these walls. Though the space was often used for serious discussions, it is fascinating to think about the personal gatherings that occurred here, away from the public eye. The location and ambiance of the Eagle's Nest were ideal for fostering a sense of seclusion. Surrounded by towering peaks and lush forests, this mountaintop hideaway offered a retreat from the prying eyes of the world. It was here that Hitler would sometimes escape to reflect on matters of state or converse with close allies. Such gatherings must have had a unique atmosphere, as the magnificence of nature enveloped both the speakers and their conversations. After World War II, the Eagle's Nest remained a topic of intrigue and controversy. Many visitors came out of curiosity, eager to learn about the historical significance of the site. Over time, it has become more than just a relic of the past. It has evolved into a symbol of a complex history that invites reflection and discussion. The surrounding area is now a natural reserve, allowing visitors not only to explore the building itself, but also to appreciate the stunning environment that it was built to celebrate. In the present day, the accessibility of the Eagle's Nest has improved, allowing more people to experience this unique site. Hikers and tourists can reach the building via a scenic walk or take a designated bus that winds its way up the mountain. The journey alone offers opportunities to appreciate nature in all its glory, from the alpine meadows dotted with wildflowers to the towering peaks that create a formidable backdrop. While the history of the Eagle's Nest is undeniably tied to darker themes, it also embodies resilience and learning. The site serves as a reminder of the past and the complexities of human nature. With visitors from all walks of life coming to experience its beauty, the Eagle's Nest stands as a place for contemplation, where one can ponder the significance of history against the backdrop of stunning natural beauty. As you walk through the building's rooms, it is hard not to feel a sense of connection to those who came before. The whispers of history seem to echo through the halls, telling stories of conversations that shaped nations. The views from the terrace remind us of the larger world beyond, while the structure itself invites us to reflect on the paths that brought us to the present. Ultimately, the Käse de Tas, or Eagle's Nest, serves as an intriguing blend of history and natural beauty. Its story is not one of simple admiration. Instead, it weaves complex threads about power, retreat, and the landscape of change. Visiting this site encourages one to confront the past while embracing the stunning views, creating an experience that is both enlightening and enriching. Whether you are captivated by the architectural wonders, the natural surroundings, or the historical significance, the Eagle's Nest offers a unique opportunity to engage with an era and its complexities while taking in some of Germany's most breathtaking panoramic vistas. So the next time you yearn for an adventure combining history and scenic beauty, consider a journey to the Eagle's Nest. It invites you to explore, reflect, and connect with both past and present in a truly memorable way. In the chaotic landscape of World War II, where strategy and cunning were essential to the success of military operations, one unique American unit emerged that relied on deception to turn the tide of battle. Known as the Ghost Army, this ingenious group played a critical role in misleading the enemy. Using a combination of illusion, creativity, and psychological warfare to protect the lives of their fellow soldiers and ensure the success of Allied operations in Europe. The Ghost Army was officially called the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops, and it consisted of around 1,100 men drawn from various backgrounds, including artists, sound engineers, and builders. What made this unit exceptional was not its firepower, but its mastery of deception. They were charged with creating illusions on the battlefield, making the German forces believe that there were more American troops present than there actually were. This meant the Ghost Army had to constantly think outside the box, crafting elaborate schemes and employing innovative tactics to deceive the enemy. One of their most effective tools was sound. This team leveraged audio equipment to create the authentic sounds of troop movements, such as the rumble of heavy vehicles, the chatter of soldiers, and even the distant sounds of combat. They would project these sounds from hidden locations, leading German forces to believe that a large number of troops were stationed nearby. For instance, in one operation, they used speakers to mimic the noise of a company of tanks rolling through the area, causing confusion and fear in the ranks of enemy soldiers who were convinced that they were vastly outnumbered. Visual deception was equally important to the Ghost Army's success. The unit crafted inflatable tanks, trucks, and artillery, producing highly realistic models that could easily fool the enemy into thinking they were facing a formidable force. Imagine standing on the battlefield, looking through the fog of war and seeing a line of tanks, only to later discover that these machines were elaborate rubber replicas. This tactic allowed the Ghost Army to divert enemy forces away from actual points of contention, effectively misdirecting their attention and resources. In addition to the sounds and visuals, the Ghost Army employed skillful camouflage techniques. They would create fake encampments designed to simulate troop activities and movement. With dummy soldiers set in lifelike poses, these setups contributed to the illusion of a bustling military base. The conversations overheard by enemy surveillance would lead them to believe they were observing a robust tactical setup where none actually existed. Throughout the summer of 1944, the Ghost Army showcased its talents during various military operations, notably during the D-Day invasion. Their efforts were critical in diverting German reinforcements away from the beaches of Normandy, allowing the Allied forces to gain a foothold in Europe. Importantly, the success of the Ghost Army helped to minimize the loss of life and turn the tides in several key battles. Despite operating in the shadows, the members of the Ghost Army were determined to make their mark. They held performances for the troops, showcasing their artistic talents in painting, music, and theater, which helped to raise morale and build camaraderie. Even in the face of war, they believed in finding ways to connect and buoy each other's spirits. Their creativity was an important aspect of their work, and it reminded everyone that art could thrive even amid the devastation of battle. The Ghost Army's mission was shrouded in secrecy for many years. The extraordinary feats they accomplished remained classified until decades after the war had ended. Only in the 1990s did their story come to light, revealing the unique contributions made by a group of individuals who approached warfare from a distinctly innovative angle. Their courage and creativity provided a fresh perspective on military strategy, and history has since recognized their pivotal role in World War II. The legacy of the Ghost Army is a powerful reminder of the importance of creativity in challenging circumstances. Rather than relying solely on brute force, they exemplified that clever tactics and artful deception could yield remarkable results. Their story encourages us to consider different ways of problem solving, urging us to embrace innovation and collaboration in our own lives. Today, the Ghost Army serves as an inspiration, teaching us that even in the darkest times, one can find light in ingenuity and imagination. They remind us that not all victories come from overpowering the enemy. Sometimes, they come from outsmarting them. In a world where challenges continue to arise, the lessons of this extraordinary unit resonate with relevance, inviting us to harness our own creativity in facing obstacles. The Ghost Army ultimately transformed the landscape of military tactics during a pivotal moment in history. Their legacy not only changed the course of the war, but also paved the way for future generations to embrace the power of creativity and deception in achieving their goals. As we reflect on their contributions, we are encouraged to look beyond conventional means and inspire ourselves to think differently, chase after innovation, and perhaps sometimes create a few illusions of our own. During World War II, amidst the chaos and destruction, an extraordinary mission emerged, driven by the love for art and culture. This mission was carried out by a dedicated group known as the Monuments Men. This small, yet brave band of art historians, museum curators, and artists came together with a singular purpose: to find and recover art that had been stolen by the Nazis. Their story is not only an adventure filled with danger and intrigue, it is also a testament to the enduring power of art in human history. The Monuments Men were formed as a response to the extensive looting that occurred during the war. As the Nazis invaded various countries, they systematically seized valuable artworks, artifacts, and cultural treasures, viewing them as trophies of war. They didn't just take paintings, they took entire collections from museums, galleries, and private homes. This rampant theft posed a significant threat not only to cultural heritage, but also to the identity of nations. Each piece stolen was a part of a story lost, a history erased. In 1943, the Allied forces recognized the urgent need to protect cultural artifacts amid widespread destruction. A unit specializing in the preservation of art and historical monuments was established, formerly known as the Monuments, Fine Arts, and Archives Section. Composed of over 350 individuals from various backgrounds, these men and women embarked on a mission that combined military strategy with cultural preservation. They understood that art holds immense significance. It is a reflection of society, a record of human experience, and an essential part of our heritage. The Monuments Men faced numerous challenges during their mission. Operating in war-torn Europe, they navigated through dangerous territories, sometimes right behind enemy lines. With the need to be stealthy, they often traveled lightly, relying on intelligence reports and local contacts to help locate stolen art. This was more than just a scavenger hunt. These individuals immersed themselves in the local culture, learning about the significance of each piece and understanding its place in the community. One of the most notable events in this mission involved the discovery of a vast cache of looted artwork in a salt mine in Austria. The Monuments Men uncovered a staggering amount of treasures, including works by artists such as Vermeer and Rembrandt. The excitement of finding these pieces imbued their work with a sense of urgency and passion, driving them to ensure the rightful return of the art to its owners. Throughout their journey, the Monuments Men encountered stories of loss and resilience. They came to understand that art was not merely an aesthetic possession. It was a symbol of hope, identity, and continuity for many people. For instance, one poignant moment involved the recovery of a painting that had been in a Jewish family for generations. The emotional reunion between the painting and its rightful owners highlighted the deep connections individuals have with cultural artifacts and the importance of returning them to their rightful places. Despite their remarkable efforts, the Monuments Men faced scrutiny and skepticism. Some military leaders questioned the relevance of salvaging art when the primary focus was on winning the war. Yet the Monuments Men stood firm, arguing that preserving cultural heritage was essential. They believed that art and culture could foster healing and rebuilding in post-war Europe. Their labor was not only about rescuing objects, it was about reclaiming hope for nations devastated by conflict. In the end, their impact was profound. They managed to recover countless artworks, and their work laid the groundwork for future efforts in cultural preservation during times of conflict. Their legacy is a reminder of the resilience of the human spirit and the importance of protecting our artistic heritage. The Monuments Men knew that every piece of art they saved was a testament to the survival of culture amid destruction. Through their dedication, they ensured that generations to come would continue to experience the beauty and depth of our shared human history. The story of the Monuments Men is not just about the art they recovered, but about the values they embodied: dedication, courage, and a deep-seated belief in the importance of cultural preservation. Their journey offers a powerful lesson about what is at stake when we lose sight of our artistic treasures. It serves as a reminder that even in times of great turmoil, there are those who strive to protect and cherish what makes us human, celebrating the creative expression that speaks to the heart of our identity. Through the efforts of these extraordinary individuals, we learn that art is more than mere decoration. It is a sacred bond that links us all across history and geography, a shared narrative that defines who we are and where we have come from. During World War II, an enormous amount of art was taken from various occupied territories. Much of this art, now referred to as the stolen Nazi art trove, includes priceless pieces from renowned artists and cultural heritage items that hold immense historical significance. The extent of this theft was staggering, and has left a lingering mystery that continues to captivate historians, art enthusiasts, and the public alike. The Nazis instituted a systematic approach to thievery when it came to art. They had curators and art experts who scoured Europe, visiting museums, galleries, and private collections, seizing masterpieces and cultural treasures. The goal was not only to obtain art for Adolf Hitler's envisioned Führer Museum, but also to erase the cultural identity of the nations they occupied. The looting was a blatant act of cultural imperialism, reflecting the regime's ideologies. Many of the artworks taken were from Jewish collectors and families. As they were persecuted and driven from their homes, countless pieces of art were left behind. The Nazis did not just stop at taking masterpieces. They also dispatched squads known as the Einsatzstab Reichsleiter Rosenberg, whose purpose was specifically to collect cultural items from occupied territories. It is estimated that approximately 600,000 artworks disappeared during this time. Paintings, sculptures, manuscripts, and even decorative objects vanished without a trace. Among the stolen treasures are invaluable works by artists like Rembrandt, Van Gogh, and Vermeer. For instance, one of the most significant pieces taken was Gustav Klimt's portrait of Adele Bloch-Bauer I. This beautiful painting, adorned with gold leaf and intricate detail, remains a symbol of loss and recovery. After years of legal battles, it was eventually returned to the Bloch-Bauer family's descendants, but many pieces remain unaccounted for, buried in secrecy, or lost in time. There have been significant efforts to track down and recover these stolen works, with organizations dedicated to finding the missing pieces. The Monuments Men, a group of art historians and museum curators, worked during and after the war to recover looted art. Their extraordinary efforts helped to reclaim thousands of artworks, but many remain missing, shrouded in mystery. One of the most intriguing aspects of the stolen art is the myth and legend that has grown around certain pieces. Some artworks are thought to be hidden in secret locations, possibly buried or locked away in private collections. There are stories of treasures hidden in caves or forgotten in the attics of wealthy families. The search for these pieces continues to entice treasure hunters and art lovers alike, creating a fascinating narrative woven into the history of the Second World War. In addition to the search for these missing works, the stolen art has also sparked conversations about restitution. Many countries and institutions are grappling with the ethical implications of having art that may have been stolen during the war. The conversation surrounding ownership and justice is ongoing and complex, intertwining legal, moral, and historical dimensions. The world of art is not just one of beauty and aesthetics. It is also filled with stories of loss and recovery. Each piece carries with it a narrative of its past, of the people who created it, owned it, and, in many cases, lost it. The stolen Nazi art trove serves as a poignant reminder of the fragility of culture and heritage in the face of conflict. As new technologies, such as artificial intelligence and digital archives, emerge, interest in recovering stolen art is only expected to grow. The digitization of records and artworks is providing researchers with new tools to trace lost pieces and identify rightful owners. The hope is that one day, the remaining treasures from this dark chapter of history will be brought back to light. The story of these stolen artworks continues to unfold, blending the past with the present. Each discovery adds another layer to the rich tapestry of art history, illustrating how valuable cultural expressions can resist the ravages of time and tyranny. The quest for these magnificent pieces is a journey marked by dedication, hope, and a commitment to honoring the voices of those who created them. In conclusion, the saga of the stolen Nazi art trove is one that encapsulates the heritage of nations and the resilience of culture. It invites us to reflect on the nature of art and its significance beyond mere aesthetics. Through the challenges of recovery, the stories of these works remind us of the enduring spirit of creativity, the importance of cultural preservation, and the pursuit of justice in a world forever changed by history's darkest moments. Each artwork holds a testament to the human condition and remains an invitation to seek understanding, empathy, and connection across time and space. Operation Barbarossa stands as one of the most significant military campaigns in history, marking the beginning of a brutal conflict between Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union during World War II. Launched on June 22, 1941, this operation was named after Frederick Barbarossa, the Holy Roman Emperor whose reign was characterized by military campaigns and territorial expansion. The inspiration behind Operation Barbarossa was rooted in Adolf Hitler's long-standing disdain for communism and his desire for Lebensraum, or living space, for the German people. This concept was driven by an ideology that prioritized the expansion of German territory at the expense of Eastern Europe, particularly the vast expanse of Soviet land. Hitler believed that a swift and decisive invasion would lead to a quick victory and the establishment of a new order in Europe. The planning for Operation Barbarossa was extensive and ambitious. The German military strategy relied on rapid movements and overwhelming force, employing tactics that showcased initial successes on the battlefield. The plan called for a three-pronged attack. Army Group Center aimed at capturing Moscow, Army Group North focused on Leningrad, and Army Group South sought to secure vital resources in Ukraine and the economic centers of the Soviet Union. The German forces, totaling around 3 million troops, were supported by a formidable array of military equipment, including tanks, artillery, and aircraft. The Blitzkrieg tactics, known for their speed and coordination, were expected to catch the Soviet forces off guard, exploiting the element of surprise. Indeed, during the early stages of the invasion, the Germans achieved stunning victories, pushing deep into Soviet territory and encircling massive groups of Soviet troops. However, the vastness of the Soviet Union posed an enormous challenge. The geography, coupled with the resilience of the Soviet people and their military, played a critical role in the course of the campaign. The Germans initially underestimated the depth and determination of Soviet resistance. As the summer transitioned into autumn, the logistical strains of supply lines became increasingly evident. The rapid advance meant that soldiers were often far from their supply depots, leading to shortages of food, fuel, and ammunition. Furthermore, the harsh Russian winter loomed on the horizon, and the German troops were not adequately prepared for the severe conditions that would soon envelop them. While the Luftwaffe controlled the skies during much of the campaign, the winter months brought cloud cover and snow that hindered air operations. The combination of material shortages and extreme weather severely hampered the German advance, allowing Soviet forces to regroup and launch counter-offensives. One pivotal moment in Operation Barbarossa was the Battle of Moscow, which began in October 1941 and lasted into January 1942. The Soviets, under the leadership of their commanders, rallied their forces to defend the capital. The fierce fighting, coupled with Soviet resilience, turned the tide, marking the first significant failure for the German military in the campaign. The Soviet counteroffensive in December pushed back against the beleaguered German army, emphasizing that the initial successes of Operation Barbarossa were not sustainable. Overall, Operation Barbarossa did not merely signify a military invasion. It represented a broader struggle between ideologies. The conflict transformed the Eastern Front into one of the most devastating theaters of war. Cities were destroyed, millions lost their lives, and the societal fabric of both nations was irrevocably changed. In the aftermath, Operation Barbarossa set the stage for prolonged and grueling warfare that would last throughout the remainder of World War II. The initial German ambitions for a short, victorious campaign changed as the war spiraled into a conflict characterized by immense human suffering and sacrifice, culminating in the eventual defeat of Nazi Germany in 1945. As we reflect on Operation Barbarossa, it is crucial to recognize the complex and turbulent history surrounding these events. The invasion not only altered the geopolitical landscape of Europe, but also left an indelible mark on the collective memory of nations involved in the war. The lessons of this operation remain relevant today, reminding us of the consequences of conflict and the enduring resilience of those who endure hardship in times of war. The engagement along the Eastern Front highlighted the importance of strategy, preparation, and the unpredictable nature of warfare, ultimately shaping the course of history in profound ways. The Leuchter Report is a document that has stirred significant controversy since its release in 1988. Authored by an American engineer named Frederick Tobin Leuchter, who claimed expertise in execution technology, the report presented an argument that challenged the widely accepted historical narrative surrounding Nazi gas chambers during the Holocaust. Leuchter's work emerged in a climate of rising Holocaust denial. This denial is the assertion that the extermination of Jews and other targeted groups by the Nazis during World War II was either exaggerated or fabricated. Proponents of this view often seek to discredit established historical facts, and the Leuchter Report became a notable piece of so-called evidence for their claims. In the report, Leuchter analyzed the remains of several concentration camps, particularly Auschwitz, and asserted that the gas chambers did not function as execution devices. He examined the building materials and conducted chemical tests that he interpreted as evidence against the use of Zyklon B, the pesticide used in the gas chambers. Leuchter's qualifications to undertake such a study were questionable. He had no formal background in history or Holocaust studies, and his expertise lay more in lethal injection technology, which is far removed from historical inquiry. Critics quickly pointed out significant flaws in his reasoning and methodology. They argued that Leuchter's interpretations were based on misunderstandings of chemistry and engineering, as well as a gross simplification of the complex historical context. Moreover, Holocaust historians and chemists emphasized that the tests conducted by Leuchter were fundamentally inadequate. His sample sizes were small, his interpretations of the results were often erroneous, and his conclusions lacked the rigor expected in scientific studies. Many historians noted that critical evidence proving the use of gas chambers exists beyond the chemical traces. Following the report's release, significant backlash ensued from various sectors, including education, academia, and Holocaust remembrance organizations. The response highlighted that the Leuchter report represented not only a failure in academic rigor, but also a dangerous attempt to reshape historical truth for ideological purposes. This reaction was part of a broader effort to confront Holocaust denial and to solidify the historical understanding of the atrocities committed by the Nazis. In legal contexts, the Leuchter report has also been scrutinized. In 1991, during a court case in Canada, a judge ruled that the report, and by extension Holocaust denial, lacked credibility and was rooted in bigotry rather than genuine historical inquiry. This ruling emphasized that denying the Holocaust is not only an affront to historical scholarship, but poses a moral challenge to society. Despite the overwhelming evidence debunking the arguments made in the Leuchter report, its impact has persisted in the realm of Holocaust denial. The report has been circulated in various forms, often cited by individuals and groups that reject the accepted history surrounding the Holocaust. In some cases, it has served to embolden others to further promote similar ideologies. The controversy surrounding the Leuchter report has led to wider discussions about historical revisionism. Many argue that such revisionism is an attempt to distort and downplay historical atrocities for the purpose of promoting a particular agenda or ideology. In the case of the Holocaust, it inadvertently serves to amplify anti-Semitism in contemporary society, where the memory of these events is vital to understanding the implications of hatred and intolerance. Educational efforts and Holocaust awareness programs have countered the narrative pushed by the Leuchter report, emphasizing the importance of remembering the truth of the Holocaust. These programs include survivor testimonies, historical document analysis, and rigorous academic examination of the period. They aim not only to honor the victims, but also to ensure that the lessons learned are passed on to future generations. The Leuchter report controversy exemplifies a clash of historical narratives, emphasizing the importance of critical thinking when confronted with claims that contradict well-documented historical facts. It highlights the role that education and advocacy play in combating misinformation and protecting the memory of those who suffered during one of history's most heinous periods. In recent years, the debates sparked by the Leuchter report continue to be relevant, reminding us that the struggle against Holocaust denial and historical revisionism is ongoing. Societies must remain vigilant to prevent the erasure of truth in the face of unfounded claims. As awareness grows about the dangers of denial, the collective memory of the Holocaust remains a crucial aspect of ensuring that history is not forgotten or distorted. In conclusion, the Leuchter report serves as a poignant reminder of how history can be manipulated for ideological purposes. While it is essential to examine new perspectives and challenge existing narratives, this must be done with a foundation in truth, integrity, and respect for those who lived through the horrors of history. The Holocaust is a significant event that must be studied and remembered accurately to honor the victims and educate future generations about the consequences of hatred and intolerance. The story of Eva Braun, the longtime companion of Adolf Hitler, is layered with intrigue, speculation, and mystery. Among the many fascinating aspects of her life is a collection of diaries that some claim she maintained during her years with the Führer. These diaries are often discussed in historical circles, but their existence remains a topic of uncertainty and debate, leading to a myriad of theories about their potential revelations. Eva Braun was born in Munich in 1912 and began her association with Hitler in the early 1930s. Initially a photographer's assistant, Braun was drawn into the Nazi Party's inner circle through her relationship with Hitler. While she spent years in the shadows of one of history's most infamous figures, her life was anything but mundane. The diaries, if they exist, are believed to hold personal anecdotes, reflections, and possibly insights into the secretive world that surrounded Hitler. Speculation about the content of these diaries flourished after World War II, as historians sought to piece together the complexities of Hitler's life and the people who occupied it. Some theorized that Braun's diaries could shed light on her thoughts and feelings regarding her tumultuous relationship with Hitler. Was she a willing accomplice in the regime's brutalities, or did she remain an innocent bystander, unaware of the full extent of the events unfolding around her? These questions tantalize historians and readers alike, as they search for context in the chaos of Nazi Germany. One of the most thrilling possibilities regarding the diaries is their potential to reveal untold stories of life within the Führerbunker, Hitler's underground headquarters during the war's final days. According to various accounts, the atmosphere in this hidden lair was charged with tension and despair as the Third Reich crumbled. Images of Braun, perhaps writing late at night by candlelight, could encapsulate the sense of foreboding and loss that permeated that space. Would her entries reflect fear, loyalty, hope, or denial? Such questions inspire the imagination to wander into the complexities of human emotions during tumultuous times. Moreover, discussions about the diaries often explore Braun's perspective on the Nazi regime's ideologies. As an intimate of Hitler, what did she truly believe about his ambitions for war and dominion? Did she share his views, or did she question the path they were on? If her diaries contain her thoughts on these matters, they could serve as a crucial piece in understanding the mindsets of those closest to Hitler. Speculation has also surrounded the physical existence of the diaries. After the war, countless documents were destroyed or lost in the chaos of fleeing Berlin. Some believe that Braun's diaries met a similar fate. Others assert that they were either hidden away by loyal supporters or even possibly remain in private collections, waiting to be unearthed by curious historians. The tantalizing thought that such primary sources may still exist fuels the quest for knowledge about this enigmatic woman. An additional layer to this narrative involves the relationship between Eva Braun and the concept of loyalty. Was her unwavering support for Hitler purely born out of love, or did it stem from a desire for power and influence? If her diaries do exist, they may provide a deeper understanding of this intricate relationship. Her loyalties may offer insights not just into her own psyche, but also into how power dynamics shape the lives of those in Hitler's circle. As discussions about her writings continue, many historians also reflect on the broader implications of Braun's life and potential diaries in the context of women's experiences during the Nazi era. Women were often relegated to the background in historical narratives, yet Braun's story, as Hitler's confidant, highlights the complex roles women played in this dark chapter of history. Exploring her life through any available writings can offer a window into the myriad ways women navigated a male-dominated society during times of extreme turmoil. Public fascination with Eva Braun endures, not only because of her connection to Hitler, but also due to her mysterious persona. From photographs that depict her youthful exuberance to accounts of her lifestyle within the Nazi elite, Braun evokes a mix of intrigue and revulsion. The allure of her diaries, if they exist, lies in their potential to illuminate the shadowy edges of her life and the era she inhabited. In recent years, scholars and enthusiasts alike continue to investigate any leads regarding the diaries. Each new piece of information or speculation about them adds another brushstroke to the ever-evolving portrait of Eva Braun. Whether viewed through a lens of sympathy or criticism, the search for her writings highlights the complexities of love, loyalty, and the human condition, set against one of history's most catastrophic landscapes. It's clear that any discovery of the diaries would spark intense debate and nuanced discussions. Would they paint Eva Braun as a tragic figure ensnared by love, or could they add her to a roster of complicity in one of history's darkest epics? The quest for these alleged diaries symbolizes not only a desire to understand Braun herself, but also a broader ambition to unearth the layers of human experience entwined with the rise and fall of the Nazi regime. As time progresses, the mystery surrounding Eva Braun's diaries invites ongoing exploration and speculation among historians, scholars, and casual observers. If ever revealed, they might not only capture the voice of a woman caught in a tumultuous era, but also provide invaluable insights into the complex dynamics of affection and ideology within the midst of great historical upheaval. The potential stories hidden within these pages continue to spark imaginations and fuel discussions long after the events of that time have faded from view. Nestled deep within the dense forests of modern-day Poland lies a place shrouded in mystery and history, a site that played a pivotal role during one of the most turbulent times in human history. This is the legendary Wolf's Lair, known as Wolfschanze in German, and it served as the Eastern Front military headquarters for Adolf Hitler during World War II. Today, it stands as a reminder of a past filled with conflict and intrigue, drawing historians, tourists, and curious minds from around the globe. Construction of the Wolf's Lair began in 1940, and it was strategically located near the small town of Ketrazin in Masuriya. The choice of this remote location was deliberate. The dense forests provided natural camouflage, safeguarding it from aerial surveillance and enemy attacks. The site was designed to be a fortress, equipped with thick concrete bunkers, guard towers, and an extensive network of tunnels. As a testament to its robust construction, some of the structures remain standing, inviting visitors to explore their shadowy interiors. At the center of Wolf's Lair was Hitler's personal bunker, where he held strategic meetings and directed military operations. This was a place where critical decisions were made, often involving the fates of nations and millions of lives. The bunker complex was not just a functional military site, it was also a twisted reflection of Hitler's personality, showcasing his obsession with security and secrecy. The construction included hidden escape routes, reinforced walls, and a layout designed to minimize interference. Entering the ruins of Wolf's Lair today, visitors can retrace the steps of those who once walked the halls, contemplating the serious nature of the discussions that took place within its walls. Each room, echoing with history, tells a story of ambition and terror. The omnipresent atmosphere of the past allows visitors to envision the weighty decisions taken within those confines, from military strategies to elaborate plots. The significance of Wolf's Lair extended beyond its military function. It was also a base for several high-ranking officials of the Nazi regime, including officers and advisors who were instrumental in shaping wartime tactics. Figures like Hermann Göring and Heinrich Himmler were often present, adding layers of complexity to the discussions and plans laid out within its walls. Their presence turned the Wolf's Lair into a hub of power, influencing the trajectory of the war and its aftermath. As the war progressed, the dangers surrounding Wolf's Lair increased. In 1944, following the failed assassination attempt on Hitler known as the July 20th plot, the site became a focal point of paranoia and betrayal. From that point, the fortified complex transformed from a place of power to one of fear. Tensions mounted as internal conflicts within the Nazi leadership unfolded, and the sense of impending doom grew palpable. In January 1945, with the Red Army advancing, the strategic importance of the Wolf's Lair diminished. Hitler and his inner circle began abandoning the site, a reflection of the broader collapse of Nazi power. As they fled, the bunkers were sabotaged and set ablaze, obliterating much of the infrastructure. What remained were the skeletal remnants of a once formidable headquarters, now lying in wait beneath the layers of forest and time. Today, visitors to Wolf's Lair can witness the scars of history firsthand. The sprawling grounds cover over 800 hectares, with sections featuring crumbling buildings, overgrown pathways, and remnants of fences that once enclosed this military fortress. Guided tours explore the significant elements of the site, including the impressive bunker structure that housed Hitler himself. The site has become an open-air museum, with signs and displays offering insights into its historical context. As you walk through the eerie silence of this forsaken place, the whispers of the past linger in your mind. The contrast of nature reclaiming man-made structures speaks to the passage of time and the stories that remain etched in these walls. With each step, the lessons of history echo, reminding visitors of the complexities of power, conflict, and human ambition. Besides its historical significance, Wolf's Lair is also a part of local folklore. Stories and legends have sprouted around the site, including tales of hidden treasures and lost artifacts, adding a layer of intrigue that captivates the imagination. The mystique surrounding the site fuels the curiosity of history enthusiasts and casual visitors alike, making it a magnet for those eager to uncover the secrets of the past. Visiting the Wolf's Lair offers not just an opportunity to learn about World War II, but also to reflect on the impact of historical events on contemporary society. The site serves as a grim reminder of the consequences of war, ambition, and the pursuit of power, encouraging a deeper understanding of human nature and our collective history. As you explore this enigmatic place, consider how locations shaped by conflict continue to influence our world today. Wolf's Lair embodies a complex narrative of power, resistance, and the relentless march of history, all while reminding us of the importance of remembrance. Let the spirit of the past guide your thoughts as you traverse through this hauntingly beautiful landscape, allowing the stories of those who walked these paths to come alive in your mind. In the aftermath of World War II, tales of lost treasures and hidden secrets emerged from the ashes of conflict. One enduring myth that has captivated the imagination of treasure hunters, historians, and conspiracy theorists alike is the story of Nazi gold reserves believed to have been hidden or lost at the end of the war. As the Allies advanced through Europe and the Nazi regime crumbled, stories surfaced of immense wealth that had vanished without a trace. At the heart of this narrative is the vast fortune that the Nazis amassed during their reign. This wealth came from various sources, including stolen art, confiscated property, and the exploitation of occupied territories. It is estimated that the Nazis might have accumulated billions of dollars worth of gold, silver, and precious jewels. As the war came to a close, many believed that these riches were hidden away to secure a post-war future for the regime or to fund their escape routes. The most famous legend involves a stash of Nazi gold, supposedly buried in remote locations across Europe. Reports from various countries, particularly Germany, Switzerland, and Eastern Europe, have fueled speculation about caches hidden in forests, under mountains, or in the ruins of war-torn cities. Some stories speak of entire trains filled with gold bars, lost in transit to secret locations. In a notable case, a train rumored to be laden with treasure was said to have gone missing in Poland. This story led to excavation projects, with treasure seekers using ground-penetrating radar and other high-tech equipment in their quest for the elusive cargo. Another fascinating aspect of this treasure hunt is the involvement of historical figures and local legends. For instance, the village of Lambsdorff in Poland became a focal point of numerous treasure hunting expeditions. According to local lore, German soldiers buried a substantial amount of gold in the area as they fled. Each year, adventurers flocked to the region, impassioned by the hope of striking it rich. Many have scoured the land, driven by the allure of hidden treasures and the thrill of exploration. Moreover, the ambiguity surrounding the gold's whereabouts has only added to the excitement. Following the war, various accusations and allegations emerged, asserting that prominent Nazis had fled with immense wealth. Stories of tunnels and secret vaults emerged, with many convinced that a wealthy elite was living in luxury while the world suffered the consequences of their actions. This sense of intrigue has been a boon for fiction and film, inspiring stories about hidden treasures, secret societies, and the moral dilemmas faced by those who seek fortune at any cost. While many have searched for hidden Nazi gold, concrete evidence remains elusive. The accounts often blend history with myth, making it challenging to separate fact from fiction. Some estimates suggest that even if treasure exists, it may have long since been moved or taken, lost to time and history. Items once thought to be gold could have been replaced, or entire caches could have been looted by opportunists as chaos reigned across Europe in the war's final days. Moreover, there is speculation about the fate of the gold that the Nazis did not bury. It is believed that some of it made its way into the financial systems of other nations, laundered through banks and trading avenues. After the war, efforts were made to trace and return looted art and property to their rightful owners. Yet, the quest for Nazi gold was less straightforward, with much of it disappearing amidst complex international transactions and clandestine dealings. Nazi-era treasures have resurfaced in various forms over the years. Stolen artworks and artifacts have turned up in auction houses and private collections, sparking outrage and calls for restitution. Art historians and cultural advocates continue to work tirelessly to return these pieces to their original homes, while the enigma of hidden wealth endures in popular culture and collective consciousness. In addition to treasure hunters, the allure of lost Nazi gold captures the imagination of historians and archaeologists. These individuals analyze documents from that time, hoping to uncover clues that may lead to the discovery of missing artifacts. Some researchers have examined wartime reports, military records, and even diaries in their quest to piece together the puzzle of what happened to Nazi gold after the war. The stories of hidden Nazi gold reserves reflect a broader human fascination with treasure. They evoke a sense of adventure and the thrill of the unknown, elements that have driven explorers, historians, and artists for centuries. The prospect of finding lost wealth tantalizes not only those searching for physical riches, but also those enthralled by the stories and history intertwined with these treasures. As time passes and more information surfaces, the legend of lost Nazi gold continues to inspire. Each new generation of treasure hunters adds to the narrative, fostering a mystical aura around the possibilities of what may lie beneath the surface of history. Whether hidden deep within the earth or locked away in forgotten places, the allure of lost gold remains alive, inviting speculation and intrigue about the lives, struggles, and secrets from a time long past. Throughout history, the Nazi regime has been the subject of various theories and speculations. One of the most intriguing and often debated topics is the notion that the Nazis utilized occult practices and astrology as part of their strategic planning and decision-making processes. This concept has given rise to a multitude of theories that suggest a blend of mystical beliefs with political ambitions. The roots of these theories can be traced back to the early 20th century, a time when Europe was fascinated by the supernatural, the occult, and alternative spiritualities. Many prominent figures in the Nazi Party were known to be intrigued by these esoteric ideas. Heinrich Himmler, the head of the SS, was particularly captivated by the occult. He believed in the mystical power of symbols and rituals, and often sought to connect the SS with ancient Germanic traditions. Himmler's fascination with occultism led him to establish the Ahnenerbe, an organization dedicated to researching the ancestral heritage of the Aryan race, which included the study of ancient religions, folklore, and even astrology. Astrology, too, played a role in this narrative. There are instances where senior Nazi leaders consulted astrologers to aid in their planning. The idea was that by understanding the cosmic forces at play, they could gain insights into the future and make decisions that aligned with favorable astrological conditions. This belief in astrology was not entirely unusual at the time. Many influential people across Europe were turning to astrology as a guide amid the chaotic political landscape. While these practices may seem bizarre by today's standards, they were not uncommon in a period where the lines between the rational and the mystical were often blurred. The idea that the Nazis believed they could harness supernatural elements to bolster their cause adds an eerie layer to their already dark historical narrative. Other theories delve even deeper into the occult practices of the Nazis, suggesting that they engaged in rituals that were meant to invoke and harness power from dark forces. Some historians have examined Heinrich Himmler's obsession with the concept of the bloodline of the Aryan race, proposing that he believed certain mystical rituals could enhance the power and purity of this bloodline. According to these theories, rituals conducted by the SS were intended to summon ancient spirits or elicit divine intervention in their quest for dominance. The mythology surrounding the Nazis often connects to a larger narrative about lost civilizations and hidden knowledge. Some believe that the Nazis sought out ancient artifacts, such as the Spear of Destiny or the Holy Grail, in hopes that these relics would grant them extraordinary powers. Tales of expeditions to Tibet and other mystical sites in search of hidden wisdom contributed to the allure surrounding this topic. These artifacts were thought to hold deep significance and power, providing an edge in their imperial pursuits. Additionally, the use of symbols, such as the swastika, has been examined in the context of their supposed occult significance. The swastika has historical roots in various ancient cultures, often symbolizing good fortune and spiritual energy. The Nazis appropriating this symbol and altering its meaning contributed to the enigma of their regime. By surrounding themselves with powerful symbolism, they aimed to evoke fear and admiration, utilizing these elements to solidify their control. Interestingly, some of these themes have found their way into popular culture. Films, books, and documentaries have explored the intersection of the Nazi regime with the occult, often dramatizing these theories for entertainment. This has led to a broader fascination with the idea that the Nazis were not only political tyrants, but also participants in a historical drama filled with esoteric quests and mystical ambitions. Critics of these theories argue that while some members of the Nazi Party engaged in occult practices, attributing their military strategies solely to these beliefs oversimplifies the complex realities of their propaganda and machinations. The interplay of ideology, charisma, and brute force played a significant role in their operations. Nonetheless, the allure of the occult within the Nazi regime remains a captivating narrative that invites speculation. In summary, The theories suggesting that the Nazis utilized occult practices in astrology are steeped in a blend of historical fact, myth, and speculation. The intersection of the mystical and the militaristic paints a complex picture of a regime desperate for power, often resorting to unconventional methods to achieve their goals. Whether viewed as a curious chapter in history or as an avenue for understanding the darker sides of human ambition, the occult connections surrounding the Nazis undoubtedly provoke deeper consideration of how belief, in all its forms, can influence actions and events on a grand scale. The legacy of this intersection between politics and mysticism continues to capture the imagination, highlighting the lasting impact of these fascinating, if unsettling, theories. The Katyn Massacre is a somber chapter in history that reveals the complexities of political power, propaganda, and the consequences of war. In the early hours of April 1940, thousands of Polish military officers, police officers, and intellectuals were executed by the Soviet secret police, the NKVD. This tragic event occurred at various locations in the Katyn forest and other sites, and it remains a painful memory for Poland and its people. At the onset of World War II, Poland found itself in a precarious position. After the Nazi invasion in September 1939, the country was devastated. Within weeks, the Soviet Union joined in, invading Poland from the east under the terms of the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, which was a secret agreement between the Nazis and Soviets dividing Eastern Europe into spheres of influence. The Polish military and political leadership faced dire consequences, as their nation was carved up between these two totalitarian regimes. As the Soviet forces advanced, they captured thousands of Polish soldiers and civilians. The NKVD targeted the Polish officer corps deliberately, viewing it as a threat to their authority. Many of these officers had distinguished records, having fought valiantly during the defense of Poland. By spring 1940, the Soviets had decided on a systematic extermination plan that sought to eliminate any potential leadership within the captured Polish population. In April and May of that year, approximately 22,000 Polish officers and prisoners were executed under orders from Soviet authorities. The killings were conducted in cold blood, often in groups, in remote locations to keep the atrocities hidden from public view. The bodies were buried in mass graves, camouflaged by the surrounding forest, ensuring that the true extent of the crime would remain concealed. As World War II unfolded, the Nazis initially discovered the mass graves in the Katyn forest in 1943 while conducting operations in the area. They seized upon the opportunity to use the massacre for propaganda purposes, blaming the Soviets for the atrocity. This claim served two significant functions for the Nazis. It helped to sow discord between the Allies, particularly undermining the cooperation between the Western powers and the Soviets, who were fighting together against fascism. It also enabled the Nazis to divert attention from their own brutal actions during the war. The Soviet Union, facing accusations, took a strong stance of denial. They insisted that the Nazis were responsible and launched a propaganda campaign to discredit any claims that pointed to Soviet involvement. To solidify their narrative, the communist regime even manufactured false evidence, and for decades, the truth remained obscured. This state-sponsored disinformation campaign continued throughout the post-war period, with Soviet authorities dismissively labeling the evidence of their culpability as fabricated. The Katyn massacre became a point of contention during and after the war, complicating international relations. Countries and governments wrestled with the repercussions of aligning themselves with the parties involved. The truth about Katyn was not widely acknowledged until much later, with the Soviet regime constantly suppressing any discussion surrounding the event in the years following the war. In 1990, Mikhail Gorbachev, then the leader of the Soviet Union, opened the previously classified NKVD documents related to the Katyn massacre, acknowledging Soviet responsibility for the horrific crimes. This was a pivotal moment in the historical narrative, marking a significant shift in the relationship between Poland and Russia. The admission brought some closure to the families of the victims, who had long sought recognition for their loved ones and the true nature of their fate. Today, the Katyn massacre is an important historical event commemorated in Poland and by Polish communities worldwide. Memorials and museums serve as reminders of the atrocities committed and the impact of political machinations on innocent lives. The legacy of Katyn underscores the profound moral failures within totalitarian regimes, where the pursuit of ideological goals often comes at an unimaginable cost to humanity. The full implications of the Katyn massacre extend beyond the historical context, as it serves as a cautionary tale about the perils of misinformation and the manipulation of truth. The way the event was initially spun into a propaganda tool by the Nazis highlights the dark potential of political narratives. Such events remind us of the importance of critically evaluating information, especially in times of conflict when truth can often become a victim of competing agendas. The story of the Katyn massacre encapsulates not only the brutality of war, but also the enduring strength of human memory and resilience. Each year, memorial services honor those who lost their lives unjustly, reaffirming a commitment to remember the past and ensure that such atrocities are neither forgotten nor repeated. Through education and remembrance, the fight against misinformation and distortion of history continues, emphasizing that the truth must always hold a central place in the narrative of human experience. These reflections inspire a deeper understanding of our shared history and remind us of the fragility of justice in the face of power. The Katyn massacre thus remains a testament to the importance of remembrance and the enduring pursuit of truth in a world often marred by conflict and division. The SS, or Schutzstaffel, was a major paramilitary organization under Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party. Within its ranks, a unique set of ceremonies and rituals emerged, which many describe as cult-like in nature. These rites were not merely operational, but were designed to instill loyalty and fear among SS members. One of the key aspects of these ceremonies was the emphasis on loyalty to the Führer, Adolf Hitler. New members underwent an initiation process that was steeped in symbolism and theatricality. During these initiations, recruits were often required to swear an oath of allegiance to Hitler that signified their complete commitment to the ideology of the SS and the Nazi regime. This was not a pledge made lightly. The ceremonial setting amplified the weight of the words spoken. In the presence of their peers, individuals faced the pressure to conform and demonstrate unwavering loyalty. Beyond mere oaths, the SS conducted elaborate rituals that symbolized their shared identity and purpose. These ceremonies often featured the use of insignia, uniforms, and regalia that conveyed a sense of pride and exclusivity. Members adorned in their uniforms, decorated with various insignia representing rank and achievements, participated in gatherings that reinforced their collective identity. Candles, banners, and torches illuminated the spaces where these rituals occurred, creating a solemn and awe-inspiring atmosphere. This visual grandeur served to enhance the feelings of camaraderie and superiority among the SS members. Ritualistic gatherings were often held in specially chosen locations, such as forests or significant historical sites. These settings were not random. They were selected to invoke a sense of nostalgia, power, and connection to the past, further reinforcing the ideals of the Nazi regime. The natural surrounding might have reminded members of Germanic history and myths, which were co-opted by Nazi ideology to promote a vision of racial superiority and destiny. Through these carefully curated environments, officials sought to create an emotional connection between the participants and the ideological narratives they were expected to embrace. Moreover, the SS instilled an atmosphere of fear through these ceremonies. Members were aware that loyalty was not just an expectation, it was a matter of survival. The rituals created a dichotomy, where deviation from the prescribed beliefs could result in dire consequences. This was not just a psychological tactic, but a means to ensure that any dissent was silenced and that conformity was maintained. The gatherings often included speeches and proclamations from leaders of the SS, emphasizing loyalty to the organization and the regime, while simultaneously reminding participants of the repercussions of betrayal. The echo of chants and salutes further amplified a spirit of unity, but also of vigilance against any perceived disloyalty. In such gatherings, collective rituals served to desensitize individuals to individual horrors. As members engaged in chants and demonstrated solidarity, it reinforced a detachment from the consequences of their actions. Historical events, such as the Night of the Long Knives, were often cited or referenced during these ceremonies, where loyalty to the SS had been freshly demonstrated through brutal means. The confrontation with past events through vivid storytelling served to bind participants together while instilling fear of the repercussions for any who might question the purpose and legitimacy of their actions. Cultural symbols, music, and the use of military drill were integrated into these ceremonies. The SS had its own anthem and elaborated on the importance of martial music, which stirred emotions of pride and aggression. This music was not merely for entertainment, it was a tool for rallying support and reinforcing a sense of shared purpose. By creating a culture rich in symbols and communal experiences, The SS generated a potent blend of loyalty, fear, and ideological commitment among its ranks. Ultimately, the SS rituals were designed to create an unbreakable bond among its members. The combination of elaborate ceremonies, the use of persuasive symbolism, and the overarching control exerted through fear ensured that loyalty to the tenets of the SS was both a psychological and social contract. These aspects of their culture served not only to fortify the ranks of the SS, but also to perpetuate an ideology that led to immense suffering and destruction. The ceremonies exemplified a complex relationship between power, loyalty, and fear, which became integral to the functioning of one of history's most notorious organizations. By examining these rites, one gains insight into how deeply ingrained cultural practices can create strong group dynamics and a fierce sense of allegiance among members, often at the expense of humanity and ethical reasoning. In the heart of the Tatra Mountains, a hidden network unfolds, shrouded in mystery and steeped in history. Known as Project Riese, this ambitious construction project was initiated by the Nazis during World War II. Stretching beneath the surface, this extensive system of tunnels and bunkers is a testament to an extraordinary time in history, revealing the complexities of wartime strategies and the lengths to which a regime would go to secure its ambitions. The name Riese itself translates to giant in German, a fitting moniker for a project of such vast scope. Construction began in 1943, primarily in the Osoka Valley area. The Nazis aimed to create a complex that would serve multiple purposes: a military headquarters, a storage facility for ammunition and weapons, and possibly even a secure retreat for high-ranking officials. As such, the locations chosen for these underground structures were strategically significant, allowing the German military to operate safely behind enemy lines. One of the most remarkable aspects of Project Rise is the sheer scale of the tunnels. While constructed mostly using forced labor, many of the workers were prisoners of war and Jews, contributing to an air of tragedy woven into the history of these tunnels. The labor conditions were horrific, with long hours and minimal sustenance, highlighting the darker facets of this monumental endeavor. Today, numerous tunnels and chambers remain, creating an enigmatic underground labyrinth that piques the curiosity of historians and adventurers alike. The construction techniques employed were primitive by today's standards, relying heavily on basic tools and manpower instead of modern technology. Workers used explosives and hand tools to carve through solid rock, creating extensive networks of tunnels that span several kilometers. Some estimates suggest that the total length of the tunnels could stretch over 200 kilometers when fully mapped out, revealing not only the determination of those who built them, but also the ambition of Nazi Germany itself. Among the various components of Project Riese, the most notable sites include the underground complexes of A, B, C, and D, located in the Wyzgorze Bialski area. Complex A, situated near Wolim, is one of the largest, with vast chambers and intricate systems for ventilation and transportation. Some historians speculate that it may have also served as a site for secret experiments, potentially involving advanced weaponry or technology, indicative of the Nazis' relentless pursuit of power. Additionally, the project was shrouded in secrecy, with very few records kept. This lack of documentation has led to various theories about the true purpose of the structures. Some speculate that they served as a potential refuge for Adolf Hitler and other high-ranking officials in case of an Allied invasion. Others propose that the tunnels were intended to hide valuable military resources or artifacts, seeking to protect them from enemy forces. Each theory adds a layer of intrigue to the already mysterious nature of Project Riese. Over the years, numerous discoveries have taken place, with archaeological explorations revealing hidden chambers, artifacts, and even remnants of everyday life from the period. Visitors today can delve into these historical sites, taking guided tours that provide insight into wartime life and the construction of the tunnels. Each tour offers glimpses into the past, accompanied by stories of the individuals who risked everything, from laborers to soldiers, during this tumultuous time. The implications of Project Riese extend beyond mere construction. It serves as a reminder of how regimes can exploit human labor for their overarching goals. Historical figures, such as those involved in the Nazi Party, often envisioned grand schemes that reflected their ideologies, leading to devastating consequences that lasted long after the war ended. Today, the sites associated with Project Riese stand as a sobering reminder of a period marked by conflict, oppression, and the indomitable human spirit. Despite the passage of time, much of Project Riese remains undiscovered, with ongoing explorations and excavations potentially yielding further revelations. It is not just an archaeological endeavor, but a journey into human history, an opportunity for lessons learned and reflections on the past. This complex system underground reveals a narrative that juxtaposes ingenuity against a backdrop of moral dilemmas, inviting visitors to ponder the choices made by individuals in desperate times. As one ventures through the tunnels of Project Riese, each step resonates with the echoes of history. The shadows of the past linger in these stone corridors, and the tales of those who toiled to create them unfold in the mind's eye. It offers a unique connection to a time when every decision could alter the course of history, drawing our attention to the intricate web of events that shaped the world we know today. In exploring Project Riese, we uncover the profound impact of war on human creativity and resilience, posing questions about the nature of ambition and the quest for power. It is a testament to both the potential for human ingenuity and the perilous path it can take when intertwined with destructive ideologies. As the narrative of Project Riese continues to evolve, it serves as both a historical record and a powerful reminder of our shared past, encouraging deeper contemplation about the individual choices faced within the context of larger conflicts. The King Tiger tank, also known as the Panzer VI Tiger II, stands as one of the most formidable armored vehicles of World War II. Developed by Germany as a response to the escalating challenges posed by Allied forces, the King Tiger was intended to combine unmatched firepower with exceptional armor. Its legacy continues to capture the imaginations of military enthusiasts and historians alike. The development of the King Tiger tank began in 1942, driven by the need for a heavier tank to counter the increasingly lethal tanks of the Soviet Union, such as the T-34. As Allied forces fine-tuned their tactics and designs, the German High Command recognized that conventional tank design needed to evolve to meet the new battlefield realities. The end result was a massive machine weighing about 70 tons, which made it one of the heaviest tanks of the war. The design of the King Tiger showcased a perfect balance between offensive and defensive capabilities. Its most notable feature was its 88mm KWK 43L71 gun, which could engage enemy tanks at extended ranges, ensuring that threats were neutralized before they could strike back. This gun was highly effective, capable of penetrating the armor of most Allied tanks, including the Sherman and the T-34, with relative ease. The armor on the King Tiger was another standout characteristic. With thicknesses of up to 150 mm on the frontal plane, it was nearly impervious to the standard anti-tank weaponry of the time. This formidable protection allowed it to shrug off artillery fire and small arms without significant damage, creating a sense of invincibility on the battlefield. The tank's design incorporated sloped armor as well, which enhanced its defensive capabilities by deflecting incoming rounds. However, this impressive armor came at a cost. The King Tiger was notoriously difficult to maneuver. Its sheer weight made it slower than lighter tanks, and it struggled in difficult terrains such as mud or snow. As the war progressed, logistical challenges intensified, making it increasingly difficult to transport and maintain these behemoths at the front lines. Fuel shortages further complicated matters, limiting their operational range and effectiveness. King Tigers first saw combat in 1944 during the Battle of Normandy. Their presence on the battlefield was alarming to Allied forces, and they quickly became a symbol of German military might. Despite their fearsome reputation, the King Tiger tanks were not invincible. As the war dragged on, Allied tactics began to adapt. They started employing coordinated attacks, utilizing air support and combined arms strategies to exploit the vulnerabilities of the King Tiger. One notable encounter occurred during the Battle of the Bulge in December 1944, a last-ditch German offensive aimed at splitting the Allied forces. Here, the King Tiger demonstrated its power, devastating enemy tanks and infantry with its heavy firepower. However, the harsh winter weather and difficult terrain posed significant operational barriers. Many King Tigers became immobilized or lost, a stark reminder that even the most formidable machines could fall victim to environmental factors. As the war continued, the production of King Tigers faced numerous difficulties. Allied bombing campaigns targeted factories, and resources grew increasingly scarce. By April 1945, only about 490 units had been produced, far fewer than what the Germans had initially planned. This limited production has made the King Tiger a rare collector's item among military historians today. The final days of the war saw the King Tiger deployed in increasingly desperate circumstances. As the Allies progressed deeper into Germany, These heavy tanks were often used in last-ditch efforts to stall the Allied advance. While they fought valiantly, they were ultimately no match for the overwhelming numbers and superior tactics employed by the Allies. The legacy of the King Tiger is multifaceted. It was revered by German soldiers for its firepower and armor, providing them with a sense of pride. On the other hand, it became a target for Allied forces who aimed to exploit its weaknesses. Today, the King Tiger remains a fascinating subject of study, reflecting the complexities of armored warfare during a pivotal moment in history. Numerous surviving examples are displayed in museums around the world, where they stand as testament to engineering prowess and the brutal realities of war. As we delve into the realm of armored warfare, the story of the King Tiger reminds us of the relentless pursuit of military perfection and the sacrifices made by nations engaged in conflict. It represents both the peak of tank design and the limitations that come with such ambition. The lessons learned from the King Tiger's design and operational history continue to influence tank development even in modern times. In summary, the King Tiger tank embodies the ingenuity and challenges of armored warfare during World War II. As we reflect on its history, we gain insight into not just the technology of the era, but also the broader narratives of warfare, strategy, and the relentless human spirit in the face of adversity. Each King Tiger stands as a monument to a turbulent time in history, carrying with it stories of valor, engineering, and the harsh realities of combat. Heinrich Himmler, one of the most notorious figures of the Nazi regime, was not only a key architect of the Holocaust, but also deeply fascinated by the occult and the mystical aspects of Germanic folklore. Among the most intriguing facets of his extensive interests were the files he maintained concerning witchcraft and its historical significance. These records provide a fascinating glimpse into Himmler's mind and the ways in which he sought to intertwine Nazi ideology with ancient European traditions. Himmler believed that investigating witchcraft would help him understand the roots of Germanic culture and the perceived spiritual heritage of the Aryan race. He theorized that this heritage should be recovered and exalted as a means to promote the Nazi worldview. His focus on witchcraft was not just a mere intellectual pursuit, it was tied to a belief in a cultural resurgence that would empower the German people and elevate their status on the world stage. In the early 20th century, there was a growing interest in folklore and pagan traditions within Europe. Many intellectuals, artists, and even politicians sought to reconnect with the mystical past as a way of challenging modernity. Himmler tapped into this trend and sought to repurpose it for his ideological agenda. He took a keen interest in the historical witch trials that swept through Europe, particularly during the late Middle Ages and the early modern period. These trials often led to the persecution and execution of thousands accused of witchcraft, reflecting societal fears and the struggle between old beliefs and emerging rationalism. Himmler's witchcraft files allegedly contain numerous documents and testimonies from those historical periods. He seemed particularly fascinated by the rituals, beliefs, and communal practices associated with witchcraft, viewing them as remnants of an authentic, pre-Christian Germanic spiritual tradition. Himmler was drawn to the notion that these traditions might provide insight into a lost culture that he believed could be revived and celebrated. Within his records, there are mentions of various figures considered to have historical significance, such as Heinrich Kramer and Jacob Springer, authors of the infamous witch-hunting manual Malleus Maleficarum. This text became a cornerstone of witch hunts in Europe, providing justification for the persecution of those accused of witchcraft. Himmler recognized the influence of such documents and likely saw them as tools to reinforce a narrative that would validate his own beliefs about racial purity and national unity. The witch trials, in Himmler's eyes, represented a dark period where society turned against its own, reflecting the dangers of a departure from traditional values. He appropriated this historical context to argue that the modern world was similarly at risk of losing its way. By returning to these ancient beliefs, he believed it was possible to reclaim a sense of identity and strength for the German people. Himmler often spoke about the importance of aligning with ancient traditions, viewing them as sources of power and wisdom. Himmler's investigations also included an examination of folklore related to witches, such as tales of flying on broomsticks, shape-shifting, and herbal magic. These stories, rich in imagination and cultural significance, offered him a treasure trove of mythical elements that could be resurrected. He was heavily influenced by the writings of contemporary occultists and those who sought to amalgamate mysticism with nationalism. Interestingly, Himmler was involved with various organizations that promoted these ideas, including the Ahnenerbe an institute founded to research the cultural and racial history of the Germanic peoples. The Ahnenerbe was essentially a pseudo-scientific endeavor aimed at legitimizing the Nazi ideology through, quote, scientific research into the occult and folklore, including witchcraft. Himmler's files on witchcraft became part of a larger narrative that served to bolster his dreams of a racially pure Germany grounded in ancient heritage. Himmler's obsession extended beyond theoretical exploration. He was known to dabble in rituals and ceremonies that he believed connected him to these ancient practices, often accompanied by elaborate reenactments of historical events. His fascination reached a point where he organized activities that sought to create a sense of ritualistic importance around Nazi ideology, drawing on symbolism linked to Norse mythology and other Germanic traditions. Despite his relentless pursuit of the past, it is vital to consider the underlying motives of his work. Himmler's interest in witchcraft was calculated, aimed at manipulating historical beliefs to reinforce control over the German populace. It was not about a genuine appreciation for folklore, but rather a tool for propaganda to engineer a compliant society that would rally around a shared sense of identity rooted in a glorified version of history. The witchcraft files encapsulate a portion of the broader narrative around Himmler and the Nazi regime. They reveal how a fixation on the past can be twisted to justify horrific ideologies. By drawing on the specters of history, Himmler sought to create a new reality steeped in superstition and cultural mythology, believing it would fortify the regime's power. In the end, these records serve not only as an account of historical curiosity, they offer profound insights into the intersections of ideology, culture, and the human need for belonging. Through the lens of Himmler's witchcraft files, we can witness how history can be selectively interpreted and manipulated to shape contemporary beliefs. This exploration of witchcraft becomes a cautionary tale about the power of narrative and the complexities of human understanding of identity, culture, and the past. Deep in the heart of France, nestled along the rugged coastline of Brittany, lies the small town of Saint-Nazaire. It may seem like an ordinary locale today, but during the tumultuous years of World War II, it was the site of significant military activity. What has captured the imagination of many are the whispers and legends surrounding the ghostly remnants of a Nazi U-boat base that once thrived in this industrial port. Long after the war ended, stories of mystery and the supernatural began to swirl around this eerie place. During World War II, Saint-Nazaire was transformed into a strategic hub for the German Navy, specifically for the U-boat fleet. These submarines were not just vessels of war, they were symbols of power and fear, conducting stealthy raids against Allied shipping. The U-boat base, known as the Base Sous-Marine, was a colossal concrete structure, constructed to withstand aerial bombings and assaults at sea. Its massive bunkers created a labyrinthine network, and the very atmosphere within these cold, dark walls seemed to resonate with a history filled with tension. Following the war, as the dust settled and the conflict faded into memory, the base was abandoned. Unlike typical military installations that are dismantled or repurposed, this site remained eerily silent. The remnants of the once active U-boat harbor began to decay, leaving behind a shadowy echo of its past. It's this very silence that has allowed fanciful stories to emerge, woven with threads of the supernatural. One of the most persistent tales involves a haunting presence. Locals tell of spectral figures roaming the dimly lit corridors of the abandoned base. Eyewitnesses have described fleeting shadows flitting across their field of vision, only to vanish when approached. Is it the spirits of sailors, who once manned the imposing submarines, roaming the passageways in search of peace? Or perhaps the lingering energy of those who suffered in the midst of warfare, unable to reconcile their past? Such questions hang in the air like fog, refusing to settle. It's not uncommon for visitors to report feelings of unease or being watched while exploring the crumbling structures of the base. Some have captured eerie photographs, claiming to reveal apparitions or unexplained anomalies. The strong sense of history here seems to breathe life into these notions of the supernatural. The chilling ambiance, coupled with a storied past, invites speculation and wonder what truly lurks within those cold, concrete walls. The U-boat base's connection to the Nazi regime only amplifies its aura of foreboding. Beyond the haunting tales, the site bears witness to the darker side of humanity. Former crew members are known to have experienced harrowing conditions, with long deployments often resulting in psychological strain. Those who pass through this base were embroiled in a conflict that shaped the fate of nations. As such, it's easy to speculate that the energies of those who endured the hardships and horrors of war linger there still, merging history with the possibility of the paranormal. Visitors to Saint-Nazaire sometimes embark on ghost tours that delve into these chilling accounts, bringing to life the stories of those who have come before. Tour guides recount not only the history of the U-boats, but weave in tales of ghostly encounters, inviting guests to imagine what really happened in the depths of those bunkers and docks. The atmosphere is charged, with every creaking floorboard and gust of wind heightening the anticipation of an encounter with the unknown. The base also hosts vibrant legends of treasure, hidden within its depths. Stories abound about sailors stashing their belongings as they planned for potential escapes, and that some of these treasures remain undiscovered, deep within the shadows. Such tantalizing ideas keep the allure of the base alive for treasure hunters and ghost enthusiasts alike. The combination of the historic significance and the potential for hidden riches adds another layer of intrigue to the already captivating narrative. As time marches on, the Ghost of Saint-Nazaire remains a magnetic point of interest for historians, paranormal investigators, and curious travelers. The legend is not merely a recounting of events or a tale of the past. It transforms into an ongoing conversation about memory, loss, and the lingering impacts of war. Each visitor leaves their own imprint on the story, whether they feel a chill down their spine, discover a hidden chamber, or simply witness the decaying beauty of what was once a stronghold of military might. To stand at the edge of the Saint-Nazaire U-boat base today, one can't help but feel the weight of history pressing down. The wind whispers through the crumbling concrete, the sea crashes against the rocks, and perhaps, just maybe, the echoes of the past can be heard. Whether it's the trace of a lost sailor, a glimmer of a storied relic, or the palpable sense of history, Saint-Nazaire incites not only curiosity, but a deep respect for the places where humanity's triumphs and tragedies converge. As long as stories are told, the ghost of Saint-Nazaire will continue to haunt the imagination, transcending time and making its mark on all who venture near. The Ahnenerbe Institute, formerly known as the Ahnenerbe Forschungs- und Lehrgemeinschaft, was established in 1935 and became one of the more peculiar institutions associated with Nazi Germany. Funded by the SS, the institute was initially aimed at exploring the roots of the Aryan race, a concept heavily promoted by the Nazis to justify their ideology and policies. Its leaders believed that by uncovering a glorious past for the Aryans, they could bolster nationalism and support for their regime. What distinguished the Ahnenerbe Institute was its focus on pseudoscience. The term pseudoscience refers to beliefs or practices mistakenly regarded as being based on the scientific method. The Ahnenerbe employed dubious methodologies that often disregarded established scientific principles. Rather than following authentic academic standards, the Institute cherry-picked findings that aligned with Nazi racial theories. This selective approach allowed them to craft narratives that reinforced their beliefs about racial superiority. Among the many fields of inquiry, archaeology was one of the key areas of interest for Ahnenerbe researchers. Their aim was to excavate and study ancient sites that they believed might provide evidence supporting the Aryan race's historical dominance. Expeditions were organized to various parts of the world, including places such as Tibet, the Arctic, and even the Americas. These trips were not only about scientific exploration, they often had a deeper agenda. The findings were twisted to fit the narrative of Aryan supremacy, regardless of the actual archaeological evidence available. One notable aspect of their expeditions was the exploration of ancient civilizations. The researchers sought artifacts that could bridge the past to the present, claiming that ancient Aryans had created advanced civilizations. They often misinterpreted or misrepresented archaeological records, failing to consider the contributions of other cultures. This selective interpretation served to elevate the Nazis' own conception of race while undermining the historical significance of non-Aryan peoples. The Ahnenerbe Institute also diversified its research into folklore and anthropology, looking to gather and document myths, legends, and cultural practices that they believed would reinforce their racial narratives. By investigating Germanic folklore, they aimed to create a mythos supporting Aryan cultural uniqueness. The study of ancient languages and runes was part of this effort, which sought to connect modern Germans with a fabricated, glorious history. The ludicrous belief that certain symbols could tap into an ancestral memory reflects a larger trend within Nazi ideology, which often blurred the lines between myth and reality. In addition to archaeology and folklore, the Ahnenerbe delved into fields like anthropology and genetics. Some members engaged in biological studies, attempting to establish a scientific basis for their ideologies regarding the superiority of the Aryan race. These studies often came from a background of racial hygiene, another pseudoscientific approach that falsely claimed to distinguish races based on physical characteristics. They ignored the complex nature of genetics and human diversity in favor of simplistic categorizations that supported their beliefs. The Ahnenerbe's influence stretched beyond academia and research. The Institute produced various publications, books, and films to disseminate its findings and ideologies to a broader audience. These materials aimed not just to inform, but to indoctrinate, creating a visual and narrative landscape steeped in the notion of Aryan supremacy. The imagery and language used were designed to evoke national pride and a sense of shared destiny among followers of Nazi ideology. By the 1940s, as World War II progressed, the Ahnenerbe Institute expanded its operations. It took on more responsibilities that included organizing exhibitions and educational seminars focused on promoting Nazi principles. Even as the war turned against Germany, the Institute continued to gather support and resources, tapping into various facets of society that were willing to propagate its agenda. However, the end of the war marked a significant downfall for the Ahnenerbe. With the collapse of Nazi Germany, many of its members faced scrutiny and were tried for war crimes, as the Institute itself had been involved in various unethical practices during the war. The pseudoscience that underpinned its work was discredited, and the narratives it had crafted began to unravel, leading to the exposure of their fraudulent methodologies and conclusions. The legacy of the Ahnenerbe Institute serves as a cautionary tale about the misuse of science and historical research for ideological purposes. It illustrates how pseudoscientific theories can be propagated when blended with nationalistic fervor, leading to dire consequences. By examining its history, we can better understand the importance of upholding intellectual rigor and ethical standards in research and education. In contemporary discussions, the Ahnenerbe Institute remains a relevant example of how power structures can warp intellectual inquiry. The impulse to seek out an identity through a selective understanding of history can lead to dangerous ideologies that overlook the complexity and interconnectivity of human civilizations. The study of any field, be it history, anthropology, or sociology, must always be approached with a commitment to truth, openness, and respect for diverse perspectives. This commitment is essential in ensuring that the past informs our understanding of the present in a way that fosters unity rather than division. The Lebensborn Program was a significant and controversial initiative established in Germany during the Nazi regime, beginning in 1935. The organization's primary aim was to increase the birth rate of what the Nazis deemed racially pure children, specifically those of Aryan descent. This endeavor was part of a larger ideology that sought to create a so-called master race and reinforce the notions of racial purity and superiority. The program was inspired by the ideas of racial hygiene and eugenics, which posited that certain human traits were hereditary and that society could be improved by encouraging the reproduction of those deemed to have desirable genetic characteristics. The Lebensborn Program focused on the idealization of Aryan traits, which included blonde hair, blue eyes, and a healthy physique. It was believed that by fostering the birth of children fitting this profile, the foundation for a stronger German society could be laid. To achieve its goal, the Lebensborn Program operated a network of maternity homes across Germany and in territories occupied during World War II. These homes were designed to provide assistance to women who were deemed to be racially pure and who were pregnant out of wedlock. The program encouraged women, especially those with Aryan attributes, to give birth in these facilities, offering financial support, medical care, and a sense of community among women who shared similar beliefs regarding race and motherhood. The initiative also targeted women who had relationships with SS officers, aiming to increase the number of racially pure children born within the Nazi sphere of influence. Women in these circumstances were often encouraged or even pressured to give birth, reflecting the regime's priorities regarding population and race. The program constructed an environment where the concept of motherhood was celebrated, but it was infused with the heavy weight of Nazi ideology. Children born through the Lebensborn Program were not only registered as heirs of the state, but were often subjected to rigorous scrutiny regarding their ancestry, ensuring that their lineage could be traced back to what the Nazis considered good Aryan stock. This led to considerable control over the lives of the mothers as well as the children, the regime was heavily invested in determining their upbringing and education. There were even cases where children of racially pure lineage were taken from their families in occupied territories to be raised in German families, further demonstrating the lengths to which the program went to fulfill its objectives. The impact of the Lebensborn Program was extensive and complex. While thousands of children were born through this initiative, the program remains a deeply disturbing legacy of the Nazi regime's horrifying eugenics policies. Many of the children born into this system grew up in a society that valued blind allegiance to the ideals of racial purity, often not understanding the dark history behind their own existence. After World War II ended, many of these children faced significant stigma and challenges in integrating into a society that had largely rejected the ideologies of the Nazi regime. The program not only shaped the lives of those directly involved, but also served as a grim reminder of how ideology can manipulate personal choices and lives. It provides a historical lesson on the dangers of extreme nationalism and the consequences of valuing race over individual worth. The historical narrative surrounding Lebensborn remains an important topic of study for understanding the intersections of race, society, and government policies. In modern discussions, references to the Lebensborn program can serve as a cautionary tale about the risks of extremist ideologies, highlighting why it is crucial to value diversity and celebrate the richness that different backgrounds and experiences bring to society. Through historical reflection, we can better understand and combat the poison of racial superiority and ensure that the principles of equality and humanity govern our collective future. Adolf Hitler, a figure whose impact on history echoes through the ages, was not just a politician and military leader. He was also an individual with a notable personal library. This collection, housed in the Munich apartment where he lived before his rise to power, reflected his interests, ideologies, and the ideas that shaped his worldview. Hitler's fascination with warfare is evident in his library. Among the numerous books on military tactics and strategies, one can find writings by eminent military theorists such as Karl von Clausewitz and his famous work on war. This text delves deep into the philosophy of war, making it a critical resource for leaders and strategists alike. By immersing himself in these military doctrines, Hitler sought to understand the principles that govern successful campaigns and conflict resolution, often applying these insights to his own military strategies during World War II. Additionally, he had a keen interest in the histories of various nations, particularly the Romans and the Greeks. Books chronicling the rise and fall of empires provided him with both lessons and inspirations, reinforcing his belief in destiny and the idea of a Volk, or nation, driven by a singular will. The tales of military conquests and the philosophical underpinnings of power influenced his understanding of leadership and governance. Icons from history, such as Julius Caesar or the Prussian kings, often served as benchmarks for his ambitions and aspirations. Beyond warfare, Hitler's collection also included a significant number of philosophical texts. Among these were works by Friedrich Nietzsche and Arthur Schopenhauer. Nietzsche's ideas about the will to power and the Übermensch, or Overman, resonated with Hitler, intertwining with his vision of a dominant Aryan race. Schopenhauer's views on human nature and the role of suffering can also be traced within the frameworks of Hitler's policies and rhetoric, illustrating how intertwined philosophy and personal ideology were in his life. Another aspect that stands out in Hitler's collection is the use of literature as a propaganda tool. Books that promoted his ideology were not merely for personal reflection, they were crucial components of the broader agenda he pursued. His library also featured titles that reinforced anti-Semitic views, contributing to the toxic propaganda that would devastate millions. Authors and works that propagated themes of racial superiority were valuable to him, shaping the narratives he would later employ in his speeches and policies. However, it is crucial to note that not all the books he sought lay within his reach. There were volumes that were either lost over time or possibly removed to conceal certain aspects of his education and influences. Some of these missing texts could have offered invaluable insight into the complexities of his ideas and the development of his beliefs. Speculations regarding what these books might contain illustrate the intrigue surrounding his library and the man himself. Among the books that did survive was Mein Kampf, his infamous manifesto outlining his political ideology. In many ways, it serves as both a personal account and a warning, revealing the convictions that would ultimately guide the trajectory of the Third Reich. This book, alongside others in his library, paints a vivid picture of the convictions that inspired his leadership and atrocities committed under his regime. The Germanic mythos and the grandeur of Norse mythology also held a place in his library, reflecting his obsession with Aryan supremacy and the glorification of ancient warrior cultures. Texts that delved into these mythologies further fueled Hitler's narrative of a quest for power, showcasing how cultural elements played a role in his leadership style and ambitions. As a result, Hitler's library can be seen as a microcosm of his psyche, revealing the dual nature of his leadership, both as a harbinger of destruction and as someone absorbing and utilizing cultural and philosophical concepts to pursue his vision of a unified Germany. The mix of militaristic texts, philosophical treatises, and propaganda-based literature outlines the complexity of an individual whose beliefs led to unprecedented devastation. Ultimately, Hitler's personal library serves as a testament to how literature and ideology can shape a leader's thoughts, decisions, and actions. Even as historians study the remaining texts, the absence of others adds depth to our understanding of how ideology can transform literature into a powerful weapon of persuasion. In examining the books he chose to keep close at hand or the ideas he sought to promote, we uncover layers of history that continue to be relevant today, highlighting the importance of critical reflection on the narratives that shape our world. The enigma of Hitler's library remains a reminder of how words can weave themselves into the fabric of society, influencing individuals and leading to actions that echo through time. Albert Speer, a name synonymous with the architecture of the Third Reich, had a complex life woven tightly into the history of Nazi Germany. His secret diary, published posthumously, offers an intriguing glimpse into the mind of Hitler's chief architect. Through candid confessions and personal reflections, Speer reveals a world that few were privy to during that turbulent time. The diary entries hold profound insights into not only Speer's relationship with Hitler, but also the moral dilemmas he faced while working within the regime. Born in 1905 in Mannheim, Speer grew up in a well-to-do family. He pursued architecture and soon garnered attention for his innovative designs. His path crossed with Hitler's when he joined the Nazi Party in the 1930s. Speer's architectural vision aligned with the grand ideas of the regime, and he quickly ascended to prominence. What sets his diary apart is the introspective nature of his writing. While many documents from that era were meant for public consumption or propaganda, Speer's diary was personal, filled with his thoughts and feelings about the world around him. In the early entries, readers encounter Speer's reflections on the initial excitement of being part of a movement that promised to restore Germany to greatness. He described the energy and enthusiasm of the time, admiring the way Hitler could rally crowds with his speeches, invoking a sense of unity and purpose. Speer often portrayed Hitler as a charismatic leader who inspired loyalty and fervor among those around him. However, as the war progressed and the realities of the regime became more evident, Speer's perspective began to shift. A striking aspect of the diary is Speer's admission of moral conflicts. He grappled with the consequences of his work, recognizing that his architecture was built upon the foundation of oppression and terror. He reflected on the buildings he designed, such as the grand structures erected in Berlin, meant to symbolize the Nazi idealism, and the darker implications behind them. Speer's internal struggle is palpable as he weighs his professional ambitions against the moral decay of the regime he served. In one poignant entry, Speer mused about the feeling of guilt that gnawed at him as he witnessed the repercussions of the war. He describes a moment of crisis when he was confronted with the atrocities being committed in the name of the state. Despite his efforts to justify his role by emphasizing the artistic aspects of his work, he could not escape the uncomfortable reality of complicity. The diary captures his ambivalence, as he alternated between pride in his accomplishments and despair over the moral cost. As the war escalated, Speer's position evolved. He took on the role of Minister of Armaments and War Production, where he played a crucial part in keeping the Nazi war machine running. His entries from this period reveal a man who was suddenly thrust into the chaos of war logistics and production. Speer recounts the pressure he faced, the sense of urgency surrounding him, and his determination to ensure that Germany had the resources needed to sustain its military efforts. Yet, even in this high-stakes environment, his reflections are tinged with doubt and foreboding, as the tide of war clearly turned against the Axis powers. The diary entries also provide insight into Speer's complex relationship with Hitler. He admired Hitler's vision, but also felt a growing distance, as the leader became increasingly erratic and detached from reality. In the later entries, Speer expressed a sense of foreboding about the future of the Reich. His insights became more critical, as he observed the madness that consumed those around him. This clash between personal ambition and moral reckoning is a recurring theme throughout his writings. Speer's conflict became all the more evident after the fall of the Nazi regime. Captured by Allied forces, he faced the consequences of his actions during the Nuremberg trials. In his reflections during imprisonment, he grappled not only with guilt, but also with a sense of the absurdity of it all. He began to understand the full extent of the devastation caused by the regime and his role within it. The diary serves not only as a confession, but also as an exploration of accountability. His writings illustrate the struggle of a man trying to reconcile his achievements with the horrific consequences of the regime he had been part of. His journey through this introspection reveals layers of complexity in an individual who might otherwise be painted in broad strokes of villainy. The insights drawn from Speer's diary are compelling and prompt readers to consider the broader questions of morality, power, and personal responsibility. It offers a narrative that challenges the notion of absolute evil, instead presenting a man who, while participating in a dark chapter of history, experienced a profound internal battle. In summary, Albert Speer's secret diary encapsulates a unique perspective on one of history's most notorious regimes. It provides a deeply introspective look at the personal struggles of an individual caught in the tides of power and morality. His reflections reveal the human experience behind the architect of monumental buildings, mingled with the weight of historical consequence. Through his confessional style, the diary draws readers into a vivid exploration of ambition, guilt, and the search for meaning in a time defined by turmoil. Speer's entries remain a poignant reminder of the complexities of human nature and the profound questions that arise when confronted with historical truths. The quest for the Holy Grail is steeped in legend and mystery, capturing the imagination of people for centuries. This elusive artifact, often described as the cup used by Jesus at the Last Supper, or as a vessel that possesses divine powers, has been the subject of numerous stories, myths, and historical narratives. Surprisingly, its association extends beyond religious significance into the realms of the occult, adventure, and even the pursuits of a particular regime in the 20th century, namely, Nazi Germany. During the early years of the Nazi Party, there was a significant interest in the esoteric and the mystical. Adolf Hitler and other high-ranking officials believed in the idea of a Germanic mythos, a connection to ancient legends and relics that could bolster the image of the Third Reich. The Holy Grail was perceived as one such relic, one that could legitimize their ideology and power. Just as medieval knights embarked on quests filled with bravery and chivalry, the Nazis envisioned themselves on a mission to uncover ancient artifacts that would provide them with a sense of destiny and divine approval. In their pursuit of the Holy Grail, the Nazis were influenced by various sources, including ancient texts, folk legends, and 19th century occult philosophies. They were drawn to the idea of the Grail as not just a religious artifact, but as a symbol of Aryan superiority. The Nazis believed that the Grail could confer extraordinary powers, and in their mind, it was worth pursuing at all costs. One significant figure in this pursuit was Heinrich Himmler, the leader of the SS. He was fascinated by the occult and spearheaded many expeditions to explore potentially mystical sites across Europe. Himmler's fascination was not merely academic. He was convinced that finding such artifacts would play a crucial role in establishing the Nazi regime's legitimacy and normalizing their propaganda. He believed that the Grail could lead them to the roots of an Aryan community, linking modern Germans with heroic ancestors. In his quest for the Holy Grail, Himmler sought out legends associated with the Grail that pointed to connections in Germany and surrounding regions. The theories surrounding the Grail shifted from medieval tales of King Arthur and his noble knights to the idea that the Grail was hidden in secrecy, protected by guardians with deep-rooted connections to a purer Aryan heritage. These beliefs were infused with the romantic notions of German nationalism and the desire for a mystical history that supported the values and ideals of the Nazi state. The Nazis undertook several expeditions that led them to various locations across Europe. They ventured into places such as Tibet, where some believed that ancient wisdom could be found. Other expeditions focused on locations in the Middle East, where they believed relics from biblical times could still exist. These exploits were often shrouded in secrecy and funded by the regime, echoing the adventurous pursuits of earlier explorers, yet imbued with a sense of righteousness that justified their actions. However, the concept of the Holy Grail, as pursued by the Nazis, represents a distortion of its original meaning. For many, the Grail stands for enlightenment, compassion, and hope, intertwined with the quest for understanding and inner peace. In sharp contrast, the Nazis' pursuit was fueled by an ideology focused on separation, domination, and a warped view of superiority. Despite their fervent pursuit, the Nazis ultimately failed to uncover any artifacts related to the Holy Grail. Their beliefs, driven by a desire for power, led them down a path filled with misguided actions and ethical dilemmas. While they sought to fuse the aura of the Grail with their identity, it became evident that such a relic could not be claimed or owned in the way they imagined. The quest turned into a combination of adventure and delusion, illustrating the lengths to which they would go to find meaning in their struggle for supremacy. The legacy of this pursuit reflects the dangers of intertwining mythology with ideology. Today, the story of the Holy Grail carries with it an array of meanings that speak to human imagination and spiritual yearning. It serves as a poignant reminder of the difference between genuine quests for knowledge and truth versus those that seek power and dominance cloaked in legend. In the end, the pursuit of the Holy Grail by the Nazis stands as a fascinating but cautionary tale. It reveals how ancient artifacts and myths can be misappropriated by those who lose sight of the deeper values embedded in those stories. The Grail's enduring allure continues to invite curiosity and reflection, reminding us that some quests are better approached with humility, respect, and a recognition of their profound significance in the tapestry of human experience. This enchanting journey through history emphasizes that while the search for meaning is a noble pursuit, it must never be tainted by the thirst for power or control over others. The story of the V-2 rocket takes us to the tumultuous period of World War II, a time marked by intense innovation and military advancement. Developed by Germany, the V-2 rocket holds a significant place in history as the world's first long-range guided ballistic missile. Its creation was not just a technical achievement, but was wrapped in the broader context of war, ambition, and the quest for power. The journey of the V-2 begins in the 1920s, when German engineer Wernher von Braun, alongside his colleagues, initiated early rocketry experiments. Back then, the concept of powered flight was still in its infancy, and dreams of reaching the stars seemed far-fetched. However, as World War II escalated, these dreams transformed into urgent military projects, and the need for advanced weaponry became paramount. The V-2 project, known officially as the A-4, was developed at the Peenemünde Army Research Center, a remote facility on the Baltic Sea. Here, some of the brightest minds in Germany collaborated, pushing the boundaries of engineering and aerodynamics. With a sleek, pointed body, substantial fuel tanks, and innovative guidance systems, the V-2 was a marvel of its time. Standing at nearly 4 meters tall, it could reach altitudes of up to 189 kilometers. One of the most fascinating aspects of the V-2 was its propulsion system, which used a mixture of liquid oxygen and alcohol. This combination not only provided immense thrust, enabling the rocket to soar above the atmosphere, but was also revolutionary in terms of technology. As the V-2 climbed skyward, it reached speeds of over 5,700 kilometers per hour, which was faster than a bullet and unprecedented for its era. Guidance systems in the V-2 were a breakthrough in missile technology. Previous artillery was guided predominantly by sight, but the V-2 incorporated a gyroscopic control system that allowed it to navigate its trajectory with remarkable accuracy. This meant it could strike targets far beyond the battlefield, hitting cities and installations hundreds of kilometers away. The implications of such precision were chilling, as cities became vulnerable to an unstoppable force from above. The first successful launch of a V-2 occurred in October 1944. This marked a turning point in warfare, demonstrating that a nation could strike at the heart of another's territory without the need for direct confrontation on the ground. The experience was terrifying for those who were on the receiving end. Launches that followed targeted places like Antwerp and London, leading to widespread destruction and loss of life. The fear induced by these rockets represented a new kind of warfare, one where civilians could no longer feel safe even in their own homes. The V-2 program also raised ethical questions. The development and deployment of the missile involved thousands of forced laborers who worked under dire conditions. Many were subjected to inhumane treatment and harsh living environments, raising awareness of the dark side of scientific advancement during wartime. After the war, the legacy of the V-2 found its way into the hands of different nations. The technology and knowledge gained from the program were a starting point for various post-war rocket programs, including those in the United States and the Soviet Union. Scientists like von Braun were brought to America, where they played pivotal roles in shaping the United States' space ambitions, contributing to the development of the Saturn V rocket that eventually allowed humans to land on the moon. The story of the V-2 rocket is one of human ingenuity and ambition. but also of moral complexities. It showcases how technological advancements can have profound implications on society, shaping the very fabric of conflict and redefining warfare. As we delve into this chapter of history, we are reminded that innovation often comes hand in hand with responsibility, challenging us to consider how we use the tools we create. In the grand narrative of rocket development, the V-2 rocket stands out. It represents a bridge between the destructive capabilities of warfare and the exhilarating possibilities of space exploration. Its legacy continues, influential in both military technology and peaceful endeavors beyond Earth's atmosphere. Today, as we look to the stars, we should remember the lessons of the past, honoring those who suffered while striving for a future that uses our technological prowess for exploration and discovery, rather than destruction. Otto Skorzeny was a notable figure during World War II, often remembered for his audacity and the daring operations he led. Born in 1908 in Vienna, Austria, Skorzeny had a background in engineering and was a skilled soldier who quickly rose through the ranks of the German SS due to his ability to execute high-stakes missions. One of the most infamous operations involving Skorzeny was the daring rescue of Benito Mussolini, the Italian dictator who had been deposed and imprisoned by his own government in 1943. Mussolini's fall from grace had significant implications for the Axis powers, and the Nazis knew that recovering him could potentially reinstate their foothold in Italy. Planning the operation was a complex task. The location of Mussolini's imprisonment was kept secret, and the situation required a meticulously crafted plan to ensure success. Skorzeny and his team spent considerable time gathering intelligence about the dictator's whereabouts. After determining he was being held on the remote Gran Sasso mountain in central Italy, Skorzeny quickly devised a bold plan to extract him. On September 12, 1943, Skorzeny led a small group of SS paratroopers to execute the operation. They approached the mountain via glider and landed on the peaks surrounding the prison. The mission was fraught with danger, as Allied forces were active in the region. The team moved in silence, carefully avoiding detection as they navigated the treacherous terrain. Once they reached the prison, Skorzeny and his men, wearing Italian uniforms to blend seamlessly into their surroundings, executed a swift and decisive strike. They quickly overpowered the guards stationed around the compound. In a matter of moments, they reached Mussolini, who was astounded by the audacity of the rescue. With Mussolini in their custody, Skorzeny and his team made their escape, using the same route they had arrived. The operation was a triumph for Skorzeny and the Nazi regime, demonstrating both the boldness of military tactics and the strategic importance placed on Mussolini. The successful rescue of Mussolini not only showcased Skorzeny's unique skill set, but also amplified his status within the German military hierarchy. He gained notoriety across Europe and was celebrated as a war hero among the Nazi ranks. However, the ripple effects of this operation were significant for both the Nazi and Italian regimes. Mussolini's return to power, albeit short-lived, was seen as a crucial move for Hitler. With Mussolini reinstated, the Nazis hoped to strengthen their alliance in Italy, and Skorzeny was quickly recognized as a key player in achieving that goal. Skorzeny's daring actions were not limited to this one mission. He led various operations throughout the war, showcasing his penchant for unconventional warfare. His legacy is a mix of admiration for his military ingenuity and condemnation for his ties to the Nazi Party. His story serves as a reminder of the complexities of warfare and the choices made by individuals that can significantly alter historical events. Beyond military missions, Skorzeny was also involved in propaganda efforts, using his fame to bolster the image of the SS. After the war, he had a controversial post-war life. He escaped capture and lived in various countries, ultimately ending up in Spain. His story embodies the moral ambiguities of wartime actions and the lasting impacts they can have on international relations and personal legacies. The legacy of Skorzeny is emblematic of a time when the line between heroism and villainy became blurred in the context of a global conflict. As we explore accounts of daring rescues and audacious military strikes, we uncover not only tales of bravery, but also the shadowy underbelly of ambition, ideology, and power. Whether viewed through the lens of military history, ethics, or storytelling, Skorzeny's escapades reflect the complexity of human decisions made in extraordinary circumstances. His actions remind us that history is often shaped by individuals who, in pursuit of their goals, embark on perilous journeys that can change the fate of nations. The story of Otto Skorzeny, with its mix of audacity and moral complexity, continues to captivate and provoke debate about the nature of war, courage, and the choices we make when faced with insurmountable odds. Each chapter of his life reveals insights into not just military strategy, but the very fabric of human motivation, and the darker corners of ambition that can drive someone to risk everything for success. As we reflect on such historical figures and their remarkable endeavors, we can delve into the intriguing aspects of human behavior during times of conflict, shedding light on the tension between loyalty, betrayal, and survival that characterizes the narratives of war. Otto Skorzeni's legacy, forged in the flames of historical upheaval, serves as a potent reminder of how individual actions can resonate throughout history, shaping both the past and the future in ways we may never fully comprehend. On July 20, 1944, a pivotal moment unfolded in the course of World War II, an event that would later be referred to as Operation Valkyrie. This operation was a covert plan initiated by a faction of German military officers and officials who were increasingly disillusioned with Adolf Hitler's leadership and the catastrophic direction in which he was taking the nation. They believed that the only path to salvage Germany and bring an end to the war was to eliminate Hitler himself. The conspirators represented a cross-section of German society, including military leaders, politicians, and even members of the aristocracy. Many of them were aware of the dire situation that the German military faced on multiple fronts. With the Allies advancing from the west and the Soviet Union pushing from the east, Germany was cornered, yet Hitler's increasingly erratic decisions seemed to be leading the country toward total ruin. The intelligence behind the operation was complex and meticulous. The conspirators knew that to execute their plan successfully, they would need to come up with a foolproof strategy to ensure that the assassination attempt would not only claim Hitler's life, but also establish a new government that could negotiate peace with the Allies. They believed that this would allow Germany to extricate itself from the war in a manner that would preserve its sovereignty and dignity, rather than being completely overrun by enemy forces. Key figures in this plot included Claus von Stauffenberg, a lieutenant colonel in the German army who had returned from service in North Africa with profound doubts about the Nazi regime. Von Stauffenberg was a central player who would eventually carry the bomb that was intended to assassinate Hitler. The plan unfolded dramatically at the Lair, Hitler's military headquarters in East Prussia, where he was conducting meetings with other high-ranking officials. The conspirators set July 20, 1944, as the day for the assassination attempt, synchronizing their plan with a broader coup called Operation Valkyrie. This operation was originally designed as a means for the Nazi government to maintain control over the country in the event that key officials were incapacitated. The conspirators creatively turned the plan on its head, seeking to use the very structure created by the Nazis against them. Despite careful planning, the operation was fraught with risks. On that fateful day, von Stauffenberg entered the meeting room where Hitler was present, carrying a briefcase equipped with explosives. Just before he placed the bomb near Hitler, he was intercepted by another official who moved the briefcase out of reach, placing it against a pillar. Shortly thereafter, the bomb detonated, resulting in a massive explosion that killed several high-ranking officers, but left Hitler surprisingly unscathed. The aftermath of the failed assassination attempt was chaotic. Many of the conspirators were quickly arrested, and the Nazi regime executed a swift and brutal crackdown on anyone perceived to be involved in the plot. In the following days, hundreds of individuals were arrested, tortured, and many were executed in an effort to eliminate any dissent within the ranks of the military and government. Operation Valkyrie showcased a critical moment of internal dissent within the German military establishment. The conspirators, despite their diverse backgrounds and varying motives, all shared a common desire to see an end to Hitler's tyranny and to prevent further devastation of their homeland. Their willingness to take such drastic measures reflected the desperation of those who had witnessed the collapse of thorough military strategy under the weight of Hitler's dogma. The failure of Operation Valkyrie not only cemented Hitler's hold over his government, but also led to an intensified persecution of opposition within Germany. In a post-war analysis, historians have often marveled at the bravery of those who sought to change the course of history, understanding that while their attempt came to nothing, their actions symbolized the moral courage that existed even in times of the darkest tyranny. In the broader context of warfare and resistance, the Valkyrie operation holds an essential place in the narrative of World War II. It illustrates the extreme lengths to which individuals will go in opposing oppressive regimes, revealing the silent struggles that often go unnoticed in the grand scope of history. The legacy of this event continues to ignite discussions of morality, duty, and the importance of resisting unjust authority, echoing its significance even today. The lessons from the Valkyrie plot extend beyond the borders of Germany. They serve as a sobering reminder of the complexity of human motivations, the dangers of totalitarianism, and the enduring fight for justice and peace, even when it seems like all hope is lost. While Operation Valkyrie ultimately failed to achieve its intended goal, it sparked a flame of potential within the hearts of future generations, urging them to question, resist, and seek a better world.